Hello everybody and welcome to East Boston Memorial Park in Boston, Massachusetts. My name is Jesse Mayfield Sheehan and on behalf of ASPN HD, I am proud to bring you this Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinal game between Brookline and Reading Red. These are two teams that have already played each other 3 times this year. The two teams split their regular season matchups, Reading Red getting a narrow 1-run victory in Brookline, while Brookline got some payback in Reading with a 7-3 win. These two teams faced off in the elimination round of this tournament earlier this week, with Reading get a close comeback win 3-2 over Brookline, and now they're back at it. 4th time's the charm. We'll see who comes away with the win today. I'm Jesse Mayfield Sheehan. I'll be back later with starting lineups and the start of this ball game. Stay tuned.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
But you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a course online.
You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Hello and welcome back to East Boston Memorial Park for the start of this Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinal game between Brookline and Reading Red. We are starting, that was the first pitch of the game, from Reading pitcher Nate Heighthouse to Brookline's leadoff hitter Owen Roach. That went for strike 1. Second pitch, this was just outside for ball 1. Now a 1-1 count. Heighthouse with the pitch. And it's fouled to the backstop by Roach. Count goes to 1-2. If you subscribe to the adage that a batter can be due for a hit, there's no one more due than Owen Roach. He's gone 0 for 9 so far this postseason for Brookline. And as the leadoff hitter, you know he just wants so badly to get on base. We'll see what he can do here as he faces the 1-2 count. Heighthouse delivers. He connects on this one. Skies it into shallow right center, and the second baseman is under it. Catch made by the Reading second baseman, Connor Dugan. And that'll be the first out of the inning for Brookline. Due up next for Brookline is the third baseman, number 8, Rocco Shorgi. Heighthouse with his first pitch to Shorgi. Catches the corner, that'll be strike 1. So far this postseason, Shorgi's batting 2 for 7 with a walk, 2 hit by pitch, and 3 runs scored. Pitch coming from Heighthouse. Goes all the way behind him, and that'll be a ball. A little bit more inside, and Shorgi could have had his 3rd hit by pitch of the postseason. Wouldn't that have been something? Heighthouse winds and delivers. That one is outside for ball 2. Heighthouse with the 2-1 pitch. He connects on this one and sends it foul down the right side. That'll bring the count to 2-2. Heighthouse with the pitch. He fouls it to the backstop, and Shorgi stays alive at 2-2. Looking over at the third base coach and head coach John Busey of Brookline as we get ready for the 2-2 pitch once again. Heighthouse delivers. Just inside, ball 3. Shorgi certainly one of the more patient hitters in this Brookline lineup. Fans who have followed him during the regular season know just how well he can get on base. As the pitch comes in, he fouls it off to the right side once again and stays alive again. Good way to work up that pitch count early in the game. A few foul balls, patiently waiting on some pitches outside the zone. Full count, the pitch from Heighthouse. He swings and connects, and it's fielded by Heighthouse right back of the mound. Easy toss to first. And the 1-3 ground out results in the second out of the inning. So with 2 outs and nobody on here in the top of the first, up comes the right fielder, the second baseman, number 16, Aiden Chin. Chin usually playing right field, but they've got a few defensive changes from Brookline's usual lineup as the first pitch comes in from Heighthouse, and he fouls this one over the backstop. Count is 0-1. The 0-1 from Heighthouse. Outside, ball one. Heighthouse shakes off one pitch, nods at another. Here it comes. Low for ball two. So 2-1 the count. Aiden Chin batting 3 for 9 this postseason with a double, hit by pitch, strikeout, 2 runs and 2 RBIs. As the pitch comes in, he hits this one. Slow roller over to third, picked up by the third baseman, thrown to first, and caught off the hop by the first baseman. So 1, 2, 3, the top of the first goes for Brookline. Owen Roach, the shortstop, popped out to second to lead things off. Rocco Shorgi, the third baseman, grounded out back to the pitcher. And then Aiden Chin, the second baseman, grounded out to third. As we're between the first inning, let's take a look at the starting lineups. We'll start, as Brookline comes out onto the field, we'll look at the batting lineup for Reading Red first. So leading off for Reading Red will be the center fielder, number 9, Steve Webb. Batting second will be the right fielder, number 3, Logan Nowicki. Batting third, the catcher, number 4, Nick Marshall. Batting cleanup, the extra hitter, number 14, Cole Tully. In the fifth spot, the designated hitter, number 17, Brian Marshall. After that, the third baseman, number 10, Cullen McCadden. Followed by the pitcher, number 38, Nate Heighthouse. Then the shortstop, number 11, Chris Shin. Followed by the first baseman, number 39, Bill Benneke. And then wrapping up with the left fielder, number 7, Mike Dipietro. Now let's take a look at Brookline's defensive lineup. We'll start over at third base. That is number 8, Rocco Shorgi. He batted second in the top of the first and grounded out back to the pitcher. Moving over to the shortstop position, that is number 1, Owen Roach. He led off the inning and popped out to second. We move over to second base, where we have Aiden Chin, number 16. He batted third and grounded out to third to start the top of the first. Rounding out the infield, we've got the first baseman, number 27, Eli Rothman. Looking in the outfield, in right field, we've got number 47, John Kim. And in center field, we've got number 22, Andrew Silverman. And then rounding out the outfield, in left field is number 11, Brage Golding. And then, as you just briefly saw the battery, behind the plate is number 20, Jasper Reed. And on the mound today, pitching number 15, Caleb Mcgrath. So Steve Webb steps in to lead things off for Reading here in the bottom of the first. First pitch from Mcgrath is in the dirt for ball one. Mcgrath he's got plenty of velocity on his pitches, but he's primarily been used in a relief role so far this season as he's been trying to recover his arm. Another pitch low, that'll be ball two. Steve Webb, in that last playoff matchup these two teams had, he went 0 for 2 but had a bases-loaded walk to drive in one of Reading's 3 runs. The pitch connects on this one. He sends it out to left. The wind is going to carry that one, and it drops in fair territory. This might go up for extra bases as Webb is running down to second. The throw comes in, the slide, he's safe. So Steve Webb leads off with a double to left field. As you saw, the wind kind of carried that one, kept it in shallow territory, and blew it towards the left field line, but not quite foul. We've had plenty of strong winds so far today, gusts up to 25 miles per hour, and that's going to make things just that much tougher for the outfielders today. Now batting for Reading is the right fielder, number 3, Logan Nowicki. He's got a runner on second and nobody out. Mcgrath checks the runner at second and delivers just a bit outside, ball one. 1-0 the count. Mcgrath looks back at second. Delivers the pitch. Low and outside, ball 2. Mcgrath sets, looks back at second, looks back again, looks back a third time, now delivers the 2-0. Outside, ball 3. So Mcgrath struggling to find the strike zone early on. A strike percentage of about 16.6. And the only strike he's thrown so far was sent out to left for a double, the 3-0. Down Broadway this time, strike 1. Nowicki steps back in, 3-1 the count. Mcgrath checks second, delivers, and that's high for ball 4. So Nowicki trots down to first, and we've got runners on first and second for the catcher, number 4, Nick Marshall. Marshall, the last time he played against Brookline, he went 0 for 3. He'll be looking to get a hit this time, especially with 2 runners on. Mcgrath checks the runner at second, delivers the first pitch in the dirt for ball 1. Mcgrath still struggling to find the strike zone. Mcgrath nods at a pitch, checks second. The 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed, and that's strike 1. Mcgrath, so far this postseason, he's made 2 relief appearances for a combined 2 innings pitched, no runs given up, 1 hit allowed, and 2 strikeouts. He now has a 1-1 count against Nick Marshall. He steps off the rubber to check second. Webb trots back, no throw. Now the pitch, just outside, ball 2. 2-1 to the lefty hitter Marshall, one of several lefties in this Reading lineup, many of them at the top of the order. Mcgrath with the pitch. He connects on this one, sends a grounder over to second, fielded by Chin, thrown to second, and they decide not to throw to first. So we got a 4-6 fielder's choice. Nowicki is out at second, while Webb advances to third. Marshall reaches first safely, and we've got 1 out in the inning for the extra hitter, number 14, Cole Tully. Tully once again another lefty, as 3 of the first 4 hitters for Reading have been left-handed hitters. Mcgrath sets, checks third, and delivers. Runner started to take off a little bit, but decided to go back to first. The pitch itself was in for a strike. His last time against Brookline, Cole Tully went 0 for 3 with a strikeout. He's now got runners on the corners with 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Mcgrath stares at third, decides to throw to first, and he dives back safely. Marshall standing at first, Steve Webb at third, Cole Tully at the plate. Mcgrath with the pitch. In there for another strike. Tully steps back into the box. 0-2 the count. Mcgrath looks at first, he sets, and delivers. Catches the zone, and oh, that one was strike 2. The first pitch was a ball, that's my mistake. So 1-2 is the count. Mcgrath sets the 1-2. He connects on this one, grounds it over to short, fielded by Roach, steps on second, throws to first. He's got the inning-ending double play. A 6-3 double play ends the inning scoreless. And after one inning, we've got a blank scoreboard. Brookline 0, Reading Red 0. As Reading gets ready to come back out on defense, Heighthouse will be coming back out onto the mound. This is first time Heighthouse has faced Brookline on the mound since their regular season matchup in Reading. Heighthouse had finished with 4 innings pitched, 2 runs, 1 earned, on 5 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, and 5 strikeouts, including a near immaculate inning in the top of the 7th, where he sent 3 guys down swinging on 10 pitches, just 1 pitch away from the potential immaculate inning. So he had started to find his groove at the end of that game, and he seems to be starting in a groove thus far. He got the top of Brookline's lineup down in order as Owen Roach popped out to second, Rocco Shorgi grounded out to the pitcher, and Aiden Chin grounded to third. He'll be facing the middle of Brookline's lineup now, starting with the catcher, number 20, Jasper Reed. Following him up will be the pitcher, number 15, Caleb Mcgrath, and then the center fielder, number 22, Andrew Silverman. Reed, certainly one of the more powerful hitters in Brookline's lineup. He's at cleanup for a reason. He's the only player who's hit a home run for the team thus far, as he sent one out beyond the trees against Natick earlier this season. And he's had a couple of deep shots even in the postseason as well. Currently, through 3 postseason games, he's batting 4 for 10 with 2 doubles, a strikeout, 3 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. As we get the throw down to second, that ends the warm-up pitches, and we are ready to get the top of the second underway. Reed steps into the box. And Yump says play, and here comes the first pitch from Heighthouse. Catches the low corner of the strike zone, strike 1. 0-1 the count, pitch from Heighthouse. That's low and away for ball 1. Heighthouse has gone strike ball against every hitter he's faced so far as he throws the 1-1. He connects on this one, sends it foul into the right side and out of play. First baseman Bill Benneke gave it a chase, but it went over the fence, so nothing doing there. And Reed steps back into the box with a 1-2 count. Heighthouse winds and delivers. He connects on this one. It's a slow dribbler to the third base side. Picked up by the pitcher, thrown to first, and they got him in time. So good hustle there by Nate Heighthouse on a grounder that with that trajectory would ordinarily be fielded by the third baseman. Chased it down well and made a throw off his back foot that managed to get there in time, and credit to Bill Benneke with the high-reaching grab at first. Now stepping in, the pitcher, number 15, Caleb Mcgrath. Heighthouse with the pitch. He fouls this one to the backstop, strike 1. Mcgrath has been on fire this postseason thus far. He is currently 5 for 5 with 3 doubles, 2 walks, a hit by pitch, a sac bunt, 4 steals on 6 attempts, 5 runs scored, and 4 RBIs. Pitch, he fouls it to the backstop again, and that's 0-2. Of course, all those offensive stats come on top of his relief pitching stats, as well as some nice play at his usual position of shortstop. And after managing to get out of the jam in the bottom of the first, Mcgrath hoping to add to his own cause here. The pitch, high and inside, almost hit him. He was like a statue there, but it'll just be a harmless ball. 1-2 now the count. Pitch from Heighthouse. He reaches out, bloops this one in shallow right center. Second baseman tracking. He's got the catch. So another pop out to the second baseman, Connor Dugan. He's only playing defense today, but he's getting his fair share, as that is the first out, the first blemish on Mcgrath's previously perfect hitting record, is now standing in with 2 outs. The center fielder, number 22, Andrew Silverman. Pitch. He connects on this one and pops it up to who else but Connor Dugan. He tracks it with the wind and gets the catch. And Brookline goes down in order for the second straight inning. Ground out to the pitcher, pop out to second, pop out to second. So Reading now getting ready to come back to the plate. Leading things off will be the designated hitter, Brian Marshall, who knocked in the go-ahead run in their last playoff matchup, so a dangerous hitter there. Following him up will be the third baseman, Cullen McCadden, and then the pitcher himself, Nate Heighthouse. Mcgrath back on the mound, warming up. He allowed 2 base runners in the bottom of the first inning, a leadoff double, then a walk, but then a fielder's choice and a 6-3 double play ended that first inning. So now stepping into the box, the designated hitter, number 17, Brian Marshall. And you know how I said last inning that 3 of Reading's first 4 hitters were lefties? Well, it's actually 4 of the first 5. As the ump gives his signal to start the inning, and Mcgrath, his first pitch. In the dirt, ball 1. So the Reading lineup, as lefty-heavy as it is, can throw off pitchers that are not used to facing this many southpaw hitters. As Mcgrath throws the pitch, swung on and missed, strike 1. Like I said, his last time against Brookline, Brian Marshall was 1 for 3 with an RBI single, as he fouls this one back to the backstop for strike 2. He came through with the go-ahead hit in Reading's 6th inning rally as they came back from a 2-0 deficit to ultimately win 3-2. Mcgrath with the pitch. He connects on this one, sends it out deep to left. Brage Golding is tracking it, and he's got the grab. So a fly out to Brage Golding in left starts off the inning. Golding was lucky there wasn't much wind at the time that ball was hit. That could have been dangerous if a gust came through in the middle of that. And now stepping in, did I say 4 out of the first 5? I meant 5 out of the first 6 are lefties, as it's Cullen McCadden, first pitch, saying he didn't go, ball 1. Mcgrath with the pitch. He connects on this one, sends it out to right center. This one's going to drop. McCadden rounds first. He's headed for second. It's being chased out in right center by Andrew Silverman, and McCadden is rounding second and heading for third. Ball's back in the infield, thrown down to third. It skips away from the third baseman, and McCadden decides to hold at third with a triple. So Reading Red with their second extra base hit of the day, as McCadden comes through with a huge shot out to right center. Of course, that deep outfield of East Boston Memorial Park can turn any hit into extra bases if it goes into a gap. Now stepping in, the pitcher, Nate Heighthouse. Pitch, fouls to the backstop, strike 1. Runner at third and 1 out here for Reading. Last time he played Brookline, Nate Heithouse went 1 for 2 and scored Reading's first run of the game. Now the pitch. Catches the low corner, strike 2. 0-2 the count. Mcgrath with the pitch. In the dirt, but blocked by Reed. That'll be ball 1. With a runner on third, the onus is on Jasper Reed behind the plate to cover any errant pitches thrown by Mcgrath, as he's got a 1-2 count to Heithouse. The pitch. He grounds it, but it's foul along the third base line. That ball started foul and didn't bounce fair. So Heithouse stays alive, and the count remains 1-2. Mcgrath with the pitch, fouled to the backstop, and Heithouse staying alive again. Got Cullen McCadden standing at third base, just 90 feet away from the game's first run, with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Pitch, swung, and a high hopper over to third. Shorgi throws home. They're going for the tag, and they got him. Heads up play by Rocco Shorgi, the third baseman, and a well-applied tag by the catcher, Jasper Reed. And while Heithouse reaches first, that was a costly reach of first for Reading as they lose their man in scoring position. So from runner on third, 1 out, we've got runner on first, 2 out for the shortstop, number 11, Chris Shin. Reading's third base coach giving some signals over to Heithouse at first. Mcgrath stares him down at first, now sets. First pitch to Shin, he fouls it to the backstop, strike 1. Chris Shin, his last time against Brookline, he went 0 for 2 with a strikeout. He's now got 2 outs and a runner on first in the bottom of the second of this scoreless semifinal game. Mcgrath throws back to first, and Heithouse dives back safely. Mcgrath sets once again. The 0-1 pitch, runner takes off, ball is high, Reed throws down to second, and he slides in safely. Heithouse with the successful steal of second base, and now Reading once again has a runner in scoring position. The pitch itself was a ball, so we've got a 1-1 count to Chris Shin. Mcgrath checks the runner at second. The 1-1 pitch. It's connected on, grounded over to second, fielded cleanly by Chin, thrown to first, and that's the inning. So once again, Brookline facing down the threat of runners in scoring position and shutting that threat down as the game remains scoreless. Brookline 0, Reading Red 0. After 2 innings here at this Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinal game. Brookline getting ready to come to the plate for the top of the third inning. And after the past 2 innings have gone down in order for Brookline, they'll be leading things off with the first baseman, number 27, Eli Rothman, followed up by the right fielder, number 47, John Kim, and then the lone left-handed hitter in their lineup, the left fielder, number 11, Brage Golding. We see the Reading coach having a brief chat with the umpire before the inning gets started. As Nate Heithouse comes back onto the mound, he's been dealing thus far, taking care of the meat of Brookline's lineup, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. Just like a dance, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. No strikeouts so far, but he's managed to get them to... He's kept them from hitting the ball out of the infield thus far. Everything has stayed in the infield. Pop out to second, ground out to the pitcher, ground out to third, ground out to the pitcher, pop out to second, pop out to second. So no work yet for the Reading outfielders, and on a windy day like today, that's a good thing. We said before, as John Busey stares in at his team from the third base coach position. And Eli Rothman steps to the plate. We had mentioned before, with the weather, gusts up to 25 miles per hour. So if you sky a ball deep enough, that could create troubles. And of course, with how deep the outfield here is at Memorial Park, we saw it last inning with McCadden's triple. Anything could be dangerous. You get it to the outfield. First pitch to Rothman is outside, ball 1. Eli Rothman, so far this postseason, he's batting 1 for 7 with a strikeout and an RBI. The 1-0 pitch from Heithouse. He reaches out and fouls this one behind the backstop. That'll be strike 1. 1-1 the count. Pitch. He connects on this one, sends it out to left field. Back, the left fielder chases, and he's got it. Mike Dipietro misjudged the ball at first, started to charge, then started to backpedal, and he reached up and grabbed it for a fly out to left. So that's an announcer kibosh right there. I just said they hadn't hit it to the outfield, and then they did with their first batter. And now coming up, the right fielder, number 47, John Kim. First pitch, just a bit outside, ball 1. John Kim, so far this postseason, he's batting 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, but he connects on this one, and he sends it deep out to right. Going back, and another catch over the head, this time by the right fielder, Logan Nowicki. So I definitely jinxed this inning. I said they hadn't hit anything out of the infield. First 2 batters, they both go out of the infield. Now coming up, we've got Brookline's one and only lefty in their starting lineup, the left fielder, number 11, Brage Golding. Pitch from Heithouse, swung on and connected. He sends this one over the shortstop. That's going to drop into left center. Juggled for a bit by the left fielder, but he collects it, and Brage Golding has himself a single. So with 2 outs, Golding getting things started. He was batting 2 for 6 for the playoffs coming in. And each time he's reached base, he has scored. He's got 2 runs scored as we cycle back around to the top of the lineup with Owen Roach. Pitch from Heithouse, outside for ball 1. Roach, his last time up, popped out to second base. One of 3 pop-outs to second Brookline has hit so far. He's now got an 0-1 count. The throw back to first, and Golding dives back safely. Owen Roach, 0 for 10 so far at the plate this postseason. He is looking for that first hit as this pitch comes in for a strike. Heithouse has 2 outs in the inning already, but he's now got a runner on first in the form of Brage Golding as he tries to get out of the top of the third. The pitch, Golding takes off. Ball is outside. The throw to second is high and gets away from the second baseman, but Golding decides to hold at second base. So a slightly errant throw from Nick Marshall, and Brage Golding has a successful steal. So with 2 down in this scoreless game, Brookline now has a runner in scoring position. They'll be hoping to put their rally caps on. They came up with some big 2-out hits 2 days ago in a win over Waltham that sent them into this semifinal. 2-1 the count. Pitch to Roach. In there for strike 2. Roach was looking for that to either be low or inside, but either way, ump said it caught the corner, and it'll be a 2-2 count. 2-2, 2 outs. The pitch from Heithouse. Low and away, ball 3. You know, you like to see the patience at the plate, especially from a slumping hitter like Roach. You might expect him to be over-eager to get himself on base, but he's not afraid to get on with a free pass. Full count pitch. He pops this one into foul territory down the right side and stays alive at 3-2. Full count, 2 outs, runner on second in this scoreless game in the top of the third. Heithouse looks back at second, the payoff pitch, and it's fouled again down the right side. And Roach stays alive again. House with the payoff pitch again. Swung on, connected, one hopper over to third. Fielded by McCadden, thrown to first. Collected by Benneke. And he's got the 5-3 ground out. So Brookline gets their first base runner as Brage Golden came up with a 2-out single to left center. And he advanced to second on a steal, but got no further as this game remains scoreless. Brookline 0, Reading Red 0. We get ready to head to the bottom of the third, and we'll be seeing the bottom of Reading's lineup, starting with the first baseman, Bill Benneke, following up with the left fielder, Mike Dipietro, and then cycling around to the top of the lineup with the center fielder, Steve Webb. Caleb Mcgrath has pitched 2 shutout innings thus far, though he's not had it easy. A runner has gotten to third base in each of the past 2 innings, but Mcgrath has successfully managed to get out of the jam each time. First inning, got some help from a 6-3 double play by his shortstop, Owen Roach. And then in the second inning, a heads-up play on a fielder's choice as his third baseman, Rocco Shorgi, threw out the leading base runner at home with a nice tag applied by his catcher, Jasper Reed. So the defense working for Brookline so far, and we'll see if they can keep things going here in this inning. And the balls are coming in, and the last warm-up throw, Reed throws down to second. And we are ready to get the bottom of the third underway, starting with Reading's first baseman, number 39, Bill Benneke. First pitch from Mcgrath. Connected, but fouled to the left. That'll be strike 1. That was one of those instances where the wind might have come into play. We've got a headwind with a slight curve over to left field currently. And Benneke's got an 0-1 count. The pitch swung on and missed, caught him chasing a low pitch. 0-2 is now the count. Mcgrath has been throwing a bunch of low pitches. Some of them have been in the dirt, but that one, he managed to fool him. The 0-2 pitch fooled him again. Strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out. And Caleb Mcgrath gets his first strikeout of this outing. Now coming up, the left fielder, number 7, Mike Dipietro. First pitch down Broadway, strike 1. Last time he played against Brookline, Dipietro 1 for 2 with a run scored, as this one comes in for strike 2. Dipietro scored what would turn out to be the game-winning run as he came in on Brian Marshall's single. The 0-2 pitch. He connects on this one, sends it out to right center. It's being chased. No one's going to catch it. It drops. Fielded by Silverman in center and thrown back into the infield. But a single to right center by Dipietro puts a runner on first with 1 out for the top of Reading's lineup. Let's get ready for a ton of lefty hitters, starting with the center fielder, number 9, Steve Webb. Webb, his last time up, led off the first inning with a double to left field, aided a little bit by the wind. First pitch from Mcgrath. He connects on this one, grounds it over to the first baseman. Rothman throws over to the second, and it's dropped. The throw was wide by the first baseman, Eli Rothman. He was probably hoping for a 3-6-1 double play, end of the inning, but his throw to the shortstop, Owen Roach, was wide, and Roach couldn't hold on. So runners on first and second with 1 out, as up comes the right fielder, number 3, Logan Nowicki. Grath with the pitch. It's outside, ball 1. Nowicki, his last time up, he drew a 5-pitch walk. And Mcgrath with the pitch. Catches the low corner this time, strike one. His last time up, Nowicki caught Mcgrath at a time when he was struggling to find the strike zone. He's done a little better since then, and it shows with an early 1-1 count. Mcgrath checks the runner at second and fires. Swung on and missed. He fooled him that time. Strike two. That ball was low and outside, but he caught Nowicki chasing. Mcgrath, now that he's finding the strike zone, he's doing a lot better on fooling hitters outside of the zone. Mcgrath with the 1-2 pitch. Got him swinging. Got him to chase another low pitch. And we've got two down, both courtesy of swinging strikeouts to the pitcher, Caleb Mcgrath. And now stepping into the box, the catcher, number 4, Nick Marshall. His last time up, Marshall grounded into a fielder's choice at second base. He's now got runners on first and second with two down. Pitch, down Broadway, strike one. Oh, and 1 the count. And Marshall calls time. Said before, Marshall could not get a hit when these two last played each other in the postseason, but their most recent regular season game, he was a threat. Finished 1 for 1 and got 3 free trots down to first. As this time the pitch comes in and he swings, he skies it out to left. Brage Golding tracking it, and he's got the catch. A fly out to left ends the threat. Once again, Reading gets runners on, but can get no further. The inning went as follows. Bill Benneke struck out swinging. Mike Dipietro hit a single to right center. Steve Webb grounded into what could have been a fielder's choice or a double play, but everybody reached safely on a throwing error by the first baseman. Logan Nowicki struck out swinging, and then Nick Marshall flew out to left. So at the top of the fourth, coming up in this scoreless semifinal game, due up for Brookline will be Shorgi, Chin, and Reed. Brookline will be looking to string some things together. They got their first man on base last inning against the pitcher Nate Heithouse, who sent them down in order each of the first 2 innings, and then got 2 quick outs to start the third. Brage Golding, the number 9 hitter for Brookline today, he got the hits started with a single over the shortstop's head, and then stole second to put Brookline in a position to potentially take the lead. But ultimately, he was left stranded there. Balls coming in from the outfield and infield. Nate House throws his last warm-up pitch. Marshall throws down to second. And we are ready to get the top of the fourth inning underway. Starting with the Brookline third baseman, number 8, Rocco Shorgi. Shorgi, his last time up, grounded out back to the pitcher in the top of the first inning. He'll be looking to do a little more damage this inning as Heithouse with the pitch. He showed bunt but pulled back, but either way the pitch is in there for strike one. Shorgi currently batting 2 for 8 this postseason. Now facing an 0-1 count. Pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Shorgi's gotten 3 free trots down to first this postseason. 1 walk, twice hit by a pitch. 1-1 the count. Pitch from Heithouse. He fouls this one down the right side. And that's strike 2. And of course, as you can see, our camera is positioned along the right side, and we're certainly happy that all the righty hitters have been gracious enough to not foul towards our cameraman. 1-2 the count, and Shorgi fouls to the backstop and stays alive at 1-2. Heithouse shakes off a pitch, nods at another. Here it comes. And it's fouled behind the backstop, and Shorgi stays alive again. It's one of those plays that can pay off in the long run. You get that pitch count up, and later in the game, pitchers can start to lose control. Count is 1-2. Heithaus with the pitch, and it's just tipped to the backstop. 4 straight foul balls for Rocco Shorgi, 3 of those with 2 strikes. So Shorgi battling here. Heithaus with the 1-2 pitch once again. And this one is low, and Shorgi is patient and takes the second ball. The 2-2 pitch. Swung on and connected. This one's grounded over to first, fielded by the first baseman. He takes it himself. And that's a ground out to first unassisted. Bill Benneke fielded it, tagged first easily. And that'll be the first out of the inning. Now coming up, the second baseman, number 16, Aiden Chin. First pitch from Heithaus. Catches the high corner, strike 1. Chin, his last time up, ended the top of the first inning with a ground out to third. He's currently batting 3 for 10 this postseason. Pitch comes in. He connects and fouls it down the right side. Strike 2. One and one the count. Heithaus with the pitch. Swung on and fouled towards his own team's dugout as some of his teammates had to hop out of the way. And Chin stays alive at 0-2. So each of the past 3 hitters Heithaus has faced has done a good job fouling off pitches with 2 strike counts, but none of them have managed to reach base thus far. 0-2 still the count to Chin. Pitch from Heithaus is high for ball 1. So 1-2 now the count. The pitch. Reaches out and pops this one up. It's going out to left center. The wind's carrying it a little, but the center fielder tracks it and catches it. Steve Webb managed to track that down out in center field. And that's the second out of the inning. And now coming up, the catcher, number 20, Jasper Reed. Reed, his last time up, led off the top of the second with a ground out back to the pitcher. It was a slow roller heading towards the third baseman, but Heithaus chased it down pretty smartly as the first pitch swung on and missed, strike 1. Jasper Reed batting 4 for 11 so far this postseason. Trying to get things started with 2 outs and nobody on. The 0-1 from Heithaus. He connects on this one, sends it out to right field. Right fielder's chasing it, and he's got the grab. Hung in the air just a little too long, and it was tracked down in right field by Logan Nowicki. Brookline goes down in order for the 3rd time in 4 innings, and Nate Heithaus continues to roll on the mound. Score still, Brookline 0, Reading Red 0, as we head into the bottom of the 4th inning. Reading will be sending Cole Tully, Brian Marshall, and Cullen McCadden to the plate this inning. Of course, McCullen had that big triple to right center back in the 2nd inning, so Brookline knows he can be dangerous. And of course, Brian Marshall had the go-ahead hit in their last postseason matchup. Caleb Mcgrath has had a runner in scoring position each of the 3 innings he's pitched thus far, but he's gotten out of the jam each and every time, thanks in part to a pair of strikeouts he had in the bottom of the 3rd, and thanks in large part to a little help from his friends in the field behind him. And with 3 innings under his belt, Mcgrath has already pitched more in this game than he had the whole rest of the postseason. He'd made a couple of relief appearances, but only pitched 2 innings over the course of those 2 outings. He's now pitched 3 already today, and he's still given up no runs thus far these playoffs. He'll be trying to keep that shutout streak going. And the warm-up pitches are done, and stepping up to the plate, the extra hitter, number 14, Cole Tully. Mcgrath with his first pitch of the inning. Tully grounds it right back to Mcgrath. Easy doings for the 1-3 ground out. 1 pitch, 1 out. You know the pitcher likes that. And now coming to the plate with 1 out, the designated hitter, number 17, Brian Marshall. First pitch from Mcgrath. Catches the low corner for strike 1. Reading using both the extra hitter and the designated hitter. So they have 10 hitters in their lineup, and they have Connor Dugan simply playing defense today. Pitch. Connected on and grounded foul down the first base line. Oh and 2, the count to Marshall. Mcgrath with the pitch. He golf swings this one out to left field. Golding is trying to track it with the wind, and he's got it. The wind took his hat off, but Golding wasn't going to let that distract him. His second catch out there, or I actually think his third catch out there in left field it is, and his second catch of a fly ball by Brian Marshall, as it so happens. So now coming up, the third baseman, number 10, Cullen McCadden. First pitch. Down Broadway for strike 1. McCadden, of course, had that big triple to right center in the bottom of the second inning, but he was later thrown out at home. 0-1. Ball is outside. 1-1 now the count. I know our cameraman down the right side of the line is happy to see all these lefties as the pitch comes in just a bit outside for ball 2. Because lefties aren't going to send any foul balls his way. So 2-1 the count to McCadden. Pitch. In there for strike 2. 2-2 the count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Mcgrath winds and delivers. Swung on and missed, and that ends the inning. Mcgrath with his best inning thus far, sending the hitters down in order. Ground out to the pitcher, fly out to left, strike out swinging. And it looks like we're going to have a guest coming into the broadcast booth for us in the top of the 5th inning. Once again, no score so far in this Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinal game between Brookline and Reading Red here at East Boston Memorial Park. And I am happy to welcome to the booth one of our baseball parents here, the father of Owen Roach, and that is Chris Roach. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jesse.
Yeah, so quite the defensive standoff thus far, a real pitcher's duel. What do you think Brookline's got to do to get something going on offense?
I feel this is our inning. Listen, I gave you 4 innings. You couldn't deliver any runs. Now I have to jump in. But Caleb's leading off. I think he'll get on, and we got some good hitters coming up. So I think I see 2-3 runs this inning.
Well, you're not wrong about those good hitters coming up. Like you said, Caleb Mcgrath leading off. He's been dangerous this postseason. His last at-bat was the first time that he got credited with an out. The first time, the first blemish on his, at the time, 1,000 batting average for the postseason. He's now batting 5 for 6.
He had a great game against Waltham the other night. He was killing the ball.
Yeah, 2 big doubles in that game. And now the first pitch to him from Height House. Swung on and missed, strike 1.
He's been very good. The Reading pitcher, he's had us off balance.
Yeah, not the fastest pitcher, but he throws with almost a sidearm motion that brings a lot of movement on the ball. Pitch drops into the dirt. A little too much movement that time.
He locates well.
He does.
Now, Reading's a good team. These are two very evenly matched teams.
Now the 1-1 pitch from Heighthouse. And that's outside for ball 2. And you're not wrong about that evenly matched, as they've played 3 games thus far. 2 of them were decided by 1 run. So definitely 2 evenly matched teams as the pitch comes in. Connected on, sent out to left field. Left fielder's chasing it back, over his head. This is going to go for extra bases. Caleb Mcgrath running into second, and he's holding at second. You know what? Maybe you are the good luck charm.
Absolutely.
Caleb Mcgrath, that is his 4th double of the postseason. You talk about a guy who wants to add to his own cause. He's sick of having all these high-pressure situations where a guy's in scoring position and he's got no runs to back him up. He's like, I'll score it myself.
Exactly.
As now coming to the plate, the center fielder, Andrew Silverman. He's showing bunt. The pitch, he pulls back, and they called him for a balk.
Fortuitous.
Unbelievable. That is the 2nd straight game where Mcgrath has drawn a balk. He scored on a balk against Waltham 2 days ago, thanks in part to some aggressive base running by the current hitter, Andrew Silverman, who took off right out of a timeout before the pitcher had even started winding up. Brookline always drives me nuts sometimes with the crazy base running plays they do, especially when they got runners on the corners. And right now, of course, the situation is runner on second, nobody out, as we've got a meeting at the mound of the infielders.
Yeah, I think Andrew's going to hit a ball hard, get this run home.
He's certainly come up with a few big hits, currently batting 2 for 9 this postseason with a walk, a strikeout, and 2 RBIs, and now he's got a runner at third. Caleb Mcgrath just 90 feet from delivering the game's first run, thanks to the balk by the starting pitcher, Nate Heighthouse. First pitch to Silverman is outside for ball 1. It's another thing you see, especially at this level. When runners get on base and they start threatening, pitchers start to get a little scared to go to the strike zone. 1-0 pitch. Fouled over the backstop.
Andrew passed his driving test today, so.
Well, congratulations to Andrew Silverman. Cue all the obligatory jokes of get off the road now, because this kid's on the road. As the pitch comes in for strike 1, 1-2 the count. Silverman now legally able to drive, hoping he can drive in a run, huh? Pitch, oh, I think he went on that one.
No,
they're saying he didn't go.
He held.
What do I know? So the pitch is low and away, and Silverman just barely manages to check his swing.
Strong wrists.
2-2 the count. Pitch. He connects on this one. It's out to the outfield. This will bring in a run. It's caught in center field, and Mcgrath takes off for home. And it's going to be sliding in safely. Caleb Mcgrath with the game's first run, courtesy of a sac fly by Andrew Silverman.
Good hitting with 2 strikes.
And you know what? Smart to sky it out. You know, when you got a runner on third, if you can just get it to the outfield, fly out or hit, doesn't matter. That gets a run.
No, the balk was huge.
It was definitely a costly pitching gaffe there by Nate Heighthouse, who's been delivering so far. But like I said, you get a guy into scoring position, that can start making you nervous, which I think says a lot about what Caleb Mcgrath has been doing on the mound so far today, considering he's been in jam after jam after jam. I mean, last inning was his first 1-2-3 inning, and he still held him scoreless through all these scoring opportunities.
I thought he looked like he got his rhythm last inning. He was looking to locate first couple of innings, but he looked very strong last inning.
Absolutely. And now stepping into the box, we've got the first baseman, number 27, Eli Rothman.
He had a great swing last time up to left field.
He did. Unfortunately, it ended up in a fly out to left, but we'll see what he can do now. First pitch is in there for a strike. Rothman with no men on and 1 out here in the top of the 5th, as Brookline has scored first, 1-0. Pitch, he connects on this one. This one's going to drop in right.
That's trouble.
This one's going to keep going. Is it going to be collected by the right fielder? He collects it in time and holds him to a single.
Good defense. That's good.
Good tracking out in right field by Logan Nowicki. As we've said before, the outfield here at Memorial Park is deep and can be a lot of trouble. But either way, Rothman's now got a man on first, as now up is Brookline's right fielder, number 47, John Kim. Pitch, he swings and connects. This is going to be a grounder over to the left side, past third baseman, but caught by the shortstop. Throws to second and then on to first. He gets the out at second, but not the one at first. So a 6-4 fielder's choice. Rothman is out at second with the second out of the inning, but they couldn't get the inning-ending double play as Kim reaches safely. And now up is the man who got the first hit for Brookline of this game, their lone lefty, Brage Golding.
Yeah, Brage is having a nice postseason.
He is. Pitch. Swung on, missed, strike one. You know, at the bottom of the lineup, Brage isn't always the most impressive hitter, but every once in a while he comes through for a hit that'll pull through for you.
And look where the third baseman plays because of the threat of Brage's bunting.
Oh, he's the bunt master. Pitch comes in. That's a strike, and Kim takes off and clumsily slides head first into second.
We may have to edit that slide.
Yeah, you don't want to get hurt on that stuff.
No. Hey, John got the job done.
He did. He got down to second safely as it seemed like the catcher didn't even realize he'd taken off. The 0-2 pitch to Golding, swung on and missed, and that'll end the inning.
Well, I think I did my job. I got you one. I thought I'd get two, but we'll take one.
You sold high. You know, that's how business works. You give them the high price first, and then you meet somewhere in the middle.
Well, thanks, Jess. I'll see if I can trick somebody else to join you, get some more runs going.
It's been a pleasure to have you. Chris Roach, everybody, he joined us for the top of the fifth inning and was a good luck charm for Brookline as they put together the first run of the game. Caleb Mcgrath led off with a double to left field, his fourth double of the postseason. He advanced to third on a balk by Nate Heithouse, and then Andrew Silverman drove him in with a sac fly to center field, as Mcgrath now returns to the mound to work on defense. As Chris Roach said, Mcgrath has been starting to find his rhythm, starting with the last inning. He was trying to find his locations, and we've got a defensive substitution over at first base. Number 6, Jack Martell, taking the place of Eli Rothman. Of course, Rothman had a nice single to right in the top of the fifth inning, but advanced no further. He was out on a fielder's choice by John Kim, who then stole second before Brage Golding struck out swinging to end the inning. Now we start off the bottom of the fifth, and hoping to get things started for his own cause is Reading's pitcher, Nate Heithouse. Mcgrath with the pitch. Caught him swinging on a high heat. That'll be strike one. The 0-1 pitch. In there for strike two. Like Chris Roach said, he was just trying to find his locations early on, and now that he has, he's throwing plenty of strikes. The 0-2 pitch. He swings, connects, and sends it through the left gap and into left field. So Heithouse gets things started with a single through the left gap. And now coming to the plate, the shortstop, number 11, Chris Shin. His last time up, Shin grounded out to second to end the bottom of the second. Mcgrath staring at Heithouse at first. He stole second the last time he was on base. The pitch, he shows bunt, and bunts foul down the first base line. Oh, and 1 the count to Chris Shin. Nate Heithouse standing at first with no outs in the inning. Here in the bottom of the fifth. Mcgrath throws back to first, and Heithouse dives back safely. Mcgrath sets and delivers, and they say high for ball one. And the umps give us a brief timeout. 1-1 the count. Gets him swinging on the high heat this time. That'll be strike 2. Or I think it might actually be 0-2. I think they're saying that one ball pitch, there was a timeout called, so I think the count is actually 0-2. Mcgrath sets, throws back to first. Heighthouse gets back safely, almost slips off the edge of the bag, but he keeps his foot on. And now with an 0-2 count, Mcgrath with the pitch, swung on and missed. Whether there was one ball or not, it doesn't matter, as Shin goes down swinging for the first out of the inning. Now coming up, the first baseman, number 39, Bill Benneke. So Mcgrath tallies his 4th strikeout of the day against Shin, so 1 out, runner still on first. The pitch, and he skies this one. It's going out to left center. Golding is calling for it, tracks it, and he's got it. Brage Golding with a busy day out in left field so far, and give him credit, he's done a good job. It's a pretty windy day, but he hasn't let that get him down. As now coming up with 2 outs in the inning, the left fielder, number 7, Mike Dipietro. Dipietro, his last time up, hit a single to right center. He advanced to second, but got no further. Pitch, and he bloops this one out to shallow left. Golding is chasing it, and Golding's caught it again. So 2 one-pitch flyouts for Mcgrath ends the inning. And we're going to have another guest, and we're going to have another member of the Roach family coming up. This time, it'll be one of Owen Roach's brothers, Jack Roach. So this should be good as we get ready for the top of the 6th inning, with Brookline leading 1-0. And welcome to the broadcast, Jack Roach.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to see what Brookline will be able to do here. You know, this 1-2-3 that's been so strong all season has, not had that same impact that they've been able to have these past couple games. And 1-0 tight ball game, we'll see if they can just, restore what they've been able to do all season.
Yeah. And you talk about that as your brother Owen coming up to the plate to lead things off. He's 0 for 2 so far today, 0 for 11 in the postseason. Like you said, they've had trouble finding that same impact. You're a former player yourself, so what do you do to break out of a slump like this, especially in an important game like this one?
Well, it definitely is worth mentioning that this is Owen's 3rd time in the whole team facing this pitcher. So you've seen what he's able to bring. You know what's coming early in the count. You know when he's ahead, what he leans to. So having that information is definitely crucial when you come into these later innings.
Absolutely. We'll see what he can do as he steps into the box. First pitch from Heighthouse. It's in the dirt for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. That's upstairs for ball 2. So Roach with a hitter's count early on in this at bat. And you know what? When it's your top of the lineup, you just want him on base. Doesn't matter, hit, walk, don't care. The 2-0 pitch from Heighthouse. I jinxed him. It's inside for strike 1.
And you'll see Owen's actually using a different bat than he's used for the previous 2 at bats. So we'll see if he can get a different result.
Pitch. Low and outside, ball 3. Owen Roach facing the 3-1 count. Pitch. He connects and skies this one into the infield. Everyone's chasing it. Who's going to call it? The shortstop calls it. And so a pop out short for the first out of the inning.
That's tough. 3-1 count. You want to be selective. Wait for that pitch that you really are sitting on and not able to really elevate on that one.
Yeah. So now stepping in, the third baseman, number 8, Rocco Shorgi. First pitch from Heighthouse. Outside, ball 1. Brookline's patience at the plate starting to pay off as Heighthouse starting to miss the zone a little bit more later in the game. The 1-0 pitch. Just inside. The ump was thinking about calling strike on that one, and then he said, no, just a little too far inside.
Yeah, Reading fans were not crazy about that one.
The 2-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner this time, strike one. One thing, even though the top of the lineup hasn't been doing well getting on base, they have been working up that pitch count for Heighthouse, and I think it's starting to pay dividends later in this game. 2-1 pitch from Heighthouse. Low and outside, ball 3.
And while they haven't gotten those hits, it definitely helps later in the lineup as the heat wears off.
Pitch. Gets in there this time for a strike. And Heighthouse doesn't bring a whole lot of heat with his pitches, but what he brings is a lot of placement and movement, and control is also something that goes as the game goes on. Payoff pitch. Connects on this one, sends it foul down the right side. So for those of you getting deja vu of Rocco Shorgi fouling off 2 strike pitches, well, he's doing it again. Count remains 3-2. Payoff pitch again. He skies this one over behind the backstop, another foul ball.
And you'll see the first base coach, Dante Shorgi, Rocco's older brother. Same exact kind of player. Just a guy who will battle for every pitch.
Pitch to Shorgi. He skies this one. And second baseman's under it, and he's got it. Another pop out to the second baseman, Connor Dugan. He's been busy. And now coming up with 2 outs, the second baseman, number 16, Aiden Chin. And I finally managed to call him the second baseman on my first take. I keep almost saying right fielder because he usually plays right field. First pitch from Heighthouse. He fouls this one over the backstop. That'll be an 0-1 count.
A lot of familiar faces in new positions here, and that just goes to show how deep this team is. When the shortstop Caleb pitches, Owen can slide to short. Aiden can comes to second.
Now the pitch, outside, ball 1. The 1-1 pitch. He swings and fouls this one down the third base line, strike 2. Chin has had a little more luck having some impact out of the top of the lineup. He was batting 3 for 9 coming into today with 2 runs scored and 2 RBIs. So far today, still looking for his first hit. The 1-2. High for ball 2. You saw him start to go on that one. He almost got him with that high heat. I can really fool batters sometimes. 2-2 pitch from Heighthouse. He checks his swing again as this one is low and away for ball 3. The third straight batter earning a 3-ball count this inning. Payoff pitch. It hits him. So the pitch gets away from Heighthouse as it curves inside, a little too much inside, and hits Aiden Chin, who gets a free trot down to first.
And that'll happen when the pitch count starts to go up. You start to lose that command that he really leans on and needs to be effective. So as guys start to work the counts, it pays off, and they can get on base other ways if the bats aren't necessarily alive.
And now here's one guy who's hoping his bat is alive, and that's the cleanup hitter, Jasper Reed. First pitch outside. Chin almost went, but decided to pull back, and it'll be a 1-0 count.
Coming into this game, the baseball looked like a beach ball for Jasper. He's just been raking.
Pitch, just outside again, ball 2. Again, that patience working for Brookline as the control wanes. Jasper Reed came into this game 4 for 10 in the postseason with 2 doubles, 3 runs scored and 2 RBIs as the throw down to first. Chin dives back safely.
4-5, Jasper and Caleb have really been able to pick up the slack when other guys aren't necessarily performing.
Pitch, he hits this one. A 1-hopper over to third, fielded, thrown, and that's the out. I think Jasper wasn't entirely sure whether that was a grounder or a liner as He caught it right around the dirt, but it's scored as a ground out, and that'll end the top of the second. So Brookline gets a runner on, but can't get anything further. Score remains Brookline 1, Reading Red 0. And Jack Roach is going to stick around with us, continuing for the rest of this game, for however long he wants to stick around.
Yeah, no, it's great. I've got the best view in the house. It's it's great to actually participate in a broadcast again.
Yeah, absolutely, because this is not your first time participating in a broadcast, right?
That's true. I go to Fordham in the Bronx. I work at WFUV as a producer and occasional on-air talent. So, it's great to come out here, see some baseball, and, add my 2 cents while I'm at it.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm a UMass Amherst guy myself, so I'll excuse the A10 rivalry for today and just have some fun.
Yeah. No, I love those A10 games. I really wanted to go to UMass this year, but the seniors, they get special privileges, and a couple guys wanted that trip, and I was sidelined in the Bronx.
Well, as you work your way up the broadcast lineup, we work our way down the Reading lineup, actually back to the top of it. Brookline had the top of their lineup coming up in the top of the sixth, and now Reading will have the top of their lineup with Steve Webb, Logan Nowicki, and Nick Marshall.
Yeah, we'll see if Caleb can keep the steam going. He's been such an effective pitcher, and you'll see. I mean, we just saw him with Reading. As the game goes on, the runs start to add up.
Absolutely. I mean, as of right now, the runs are adding up to 1 between both teams, as it's a 1-0 score. Brookline 1, Reading Red 0.
Maybe
and
the
coming
pitch
up
count.
is the center fielder for Reading, number 9, Steve Webb. First pitch from Mcgrath. He hits a grounder foul down the first base line. Steve Webb, 1 for 2 so far today. He had that double to left in the first inning, and then he reached on an error his last at bat. We'll see what he's got this time as he faces an 0-1 count to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. Pitch connects. It sends a grounder over to short, fielded cleanly by Roach, thrown over to first. The nice reach and grab by Jack Martell at first, and that's a 6-3 ground out.
You saw in warm-ups, Owen actually took ground balls at second base, and KC actually was warming up at shortstop. He pitched on Thursday. His arm was sore, and Coach Bucci had to get creative, take Aiden Chin, the right fielder, slide him to second, and even though guys didn't get the reps, they still have done a great job thus far.
Absolutely. Logan Nowicki steps in. First pitch, low, ball 1. Nowicki walked his first time up in the bottom of the first and struck out swinging in the bottom of the third. And this pitch, he swings and misses. That'll be strike 1. Mcgrath shakes off a couple pitches, gets one he likes. The 1-1 pitch in the dirt for ball 2. And that's one thing we don't want to see from Mcgrath is more of those pitches in the dirt that he was having early on in the game. He started to find his form past couple of innings, but with a tight ball game like this, you want that control. As the pitch comes in, connected on, back to Roach over at shortstop. He throws to first. Cleaner throw this time, and Martell again with the reach at first for the 6-3 ground out.
That is great because I'm telling you right now, you do not want to have base runners on for this batter right here.
Yes, Nick Marshall, the catcher, number 4, definitely one of the more dangerous hitters. He didn't get a hit in the last playoff game between these two teams, but he was given 3 free passes down to first for a reason in their second regular season matchup. Pitch from Mcgrath. Outside, ball 1.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm telling you, this guy is legit D1 talent.
He currently faces a 1-0 count. Mcgrath pitches, grounded up the middle. And he gets his first hit of the day with a single up the middle. Puts a runner on with 2 down. Now coming up, the extra hitter, number 14, Cole Tully. One thing I always find crazy about this Reading lineup, 4 or 5 of their first 6 hitters are all lefties. Pitch, in the dirt, ball 1. Because I figure that's got to throw you off because you're used to facing more righty-dominated lineups.
Yeah, lefty myself. I sometimes find myself as the only one in the lineup like that. It's interesting to see so many guys, and I wonder if they struggle against lefty starting pitchers.
Definitely is interesting. 1-0 currently, the count to Tully. Mcgrath with the pitch. He skies this one out to left center. This one looks like it might drop. It might go for extra bases. It drops in left center. It's going all the way to the wall. Fielded by juggled by Golding. 1 run is coming in. This is going to tie it. And we got a triple for Cole Tully. The triple to left center scores Nick Marshall, and we've got a tie ball game.
Wind's really blowing on that one, and Brage he's as fast as they come. That ball, he had no shot at it.
Absolutely. We had talked about the wind before today and how well Brage Golding has done tracking down fly balls out there, but no chance at that one, as the first pitch to Brian Marshall is in for a strike. Marshall, the designated hitter, number 17, he had the go-ahead hit the last playoff matchup between these two teams, as the next pitch is low for ball 1. And he's got the opportunity to be the hero again, as Reading putting together another 6th inning comeback. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and he golfs it out to right center. Kim's charging in, but it's caught by Aiden Chin, and that will end the inning. So a pop out to second ends it with the go-ahead run on third. But Reading still manages to get their first run on the board and tie this ball game as we head into the last inning of regulation.
I was getting a bit of deja vu there.
Yeah, seriously. Just a slight 1-run difference between things. But you know what? It's definitely huge that he managed to get that last out, because the last time these two played in the postseason, they got 2 outs, still had a 2-1 lead, then a guy reaches on an error, and then Marshall with the single up the middle drove in the tying and go-ahead runs respectively. When you got 2 outs, you got to get that last out. Otherwise, teams will take advantage like they did in that inning. A 2-out single by Nick Marshall and then the triple by Cole Tully to drive in the tying run.
Yeah, the goalposts definitely change when there's 2 outs, and some guys are just able to deliver in those clutch situations. And I think it really goes to show how evenly matched these two teams are. Every time they've played, it's been tight, and here we are, at the end of the semifinal matchup, and we find ourselves in the same position.
Absolutely. And we'll be facing some dangerous hitters from Brookline here in the top of the 7th. It'll be Caleb Mcgrath, Andrew Silverman, and I think Jack Martell after he replaced Eli Rothman at first base. Caleb Mcgrath, of course, the only one who has scored thus far for Brookline after that big double to deep left back in the inning where your father joined us.
How'd he do?
Well, he was certainly a good luck charm. He's certainly been better luck than you have for Brookline so far.
I can't do anything about the outcome. I'm just a viewer.
Yeah, don't tell the fans that. Fans love to say, "Oh, the broadcaster jinxed us."
Yeah.
But Jack Roach here in the booth with me saying, not it.
No. Don't point any fingers at me.
As we focus on the play on the field, we've got a new pitcher for Reading. This is number 10, Cullen McCadden. He's been playing third base up to this point. And we'll see where the defensive moves have been. My guess is, yes, it was a simple swap. Nate Heithouse over to third base. Cullen McCadden in at pitcher. So you were talking about last inning how you face the same pitcher a few times, you start to get used to it. As we get the announcement that Rothman is back in for Martell for the offensive side this inning, but you were talking about how you face the same pitcher a couple times, you start to get used to him, what he brings. now with this tie ball game in the last inning of regulation, they bring in someone new. So what have they got to do to take advantage of this? Take advantage of this late game pitcher.
Well, first thing, these pitches right here, these warm-up pitches are crucial because that's the only thing that you can base your approach off of, other than just your natural, plate discipline. But it's definitely a change in velocity. You try and scout what you can. It looks like he's going to fastball, curveball, but it definitely is. You're adjusting on the fly. It's a completely different speed. He throws completely different pitches, and it's not an easy adjustment to make.
Absolutely not. And we'll see if Brookline's hitters, 5, 6, 7 coming up, we'll see if they can get something going here in the 7th inning. As if neither team scores, do I dare say those two horrible words? Could be extra innings.
You got a fresh plate. This is a brand new ball game. Anything can happen.
Caleb Mcgrath steps in. The first pitch from McCadden is high for ball 1. Mcgrath so far 1 for 2. As he hits this one, grounded over to the shortstop, fielded, thrown over to first, and well picked up on the hop by the first baseman. That'll be the first out.
That's a phenomenal play by the first baseman there. I used to play a little bit of first base, and it's always difficult because the bounce is faster than on plain grass when you're picking that ball. So just the discipline to stay back and wait for the ball to come to you is extremely impressive.
And that's a tough hop to take, whether it's on grass or turf, but well fielded by Bill Benneke. So 1 out, and the first pitch to Andrew Silverman is low and inside.
Andrew can do a lot of damage here and really get things going.
Well, he's driven in the only run for Brookline thus far as the pitch comes in. Strike 1. He had the sacrifice fly that drove in Mcgrath after he doubled and then reached third on a balk. Now the pitch is low for ball 2.
He's got a lot of power. It would not surprise me if we see a guy on second base right now.
The 2-1 pitch is low and in the dirt again. Ball 3. Now looking at a situation where we might see a guy down at first after a free pass. 3-1 the count. McCadden with the pitch. And that's high, and hey, this time I called it. I'll take that. I'll take the calls where I can get them. I'm not exactly Tony Romo up here in the booth, but I might get a few. As now stepping back into the box is back at first base, number 27, Eli Rothman. Throw back to first, and Silverman barely dives back safely.
Rothman got the first real good piece of Brookline, early in the game. It was caught by the left fielder, but still a beautiful stroke of the bat.
First pitch from McCadden, high for ball 1. Rothman, as of right now, 1 for 2. That fly out you mentioned, and a single to right field. He would later be out on a fielder's choice. He now faces a 1-0 count. 1 out, runner at first. They throw back to first, and Silverman dives back again.
They're taking a hard look at him because, as much power as he has, he's equally effective on the base. Quick runner, gets good reads.
Absolutely. Pitch in the dirt, ball 2 rather. And that's another position that's got to be crucial. Nick Marshall has to be able to block any errant pitches thrown by McCadden, otherwise instant runner in scoring position.
And he's been a wall back there today.
Absolutely. 2-0 pitch. Runner goes, swung on and missed. Oh, I think they're going to say batter interference. Is that what they're saying? Oh, no, they just said strike. And Silverman gets the steal down to second. Was a little confused there as Rothman kind of fell off balance during his swing. Wasn't sure if they would call him for interference, but they don't. Simply a 2-1 count with Silverman standing at second after the steal. The pitch, he connects, sends it through the gap into right field. Silverman is holding at third.
Man, time after time, Rothman's delivering on that pitch where he was off balance and he swung. That was absolutely a hit and run, delivering a job and then going opposite field to advance the runner to third base.
Well done by Eli Rothman. And now the go-ahead run for Brookline is 90 feet from home with runners on the corners and one out here in the top of the 7th. Coming to the plate, hoping to drive in that go-ahead score, the right fielder, number 47, John Kim. McCadden checks the runner at first, delivers, swung on and connected. This is going to be a grounder over to the shortstop, juggled by the shortstop. Everybody is going to reach safely as the Kim goes head first into first base, a little unnecessarily, but either way, Silverman has scored the go-ahead run.
Runners on first and third before KC swung that bat, and it was up to the shortstop to either turn two or get the out at home, take a run at the go-ahead guy. And you could tell right away he was all in on the play at home and, just let that one get away from him. It would be interesting to think if he, thought otherwise, would he have had the time to turn two and, prevent that run from scoring?
Yeah, that was certainly a more shallow grounder to short, so turning two would have required a difficult turn for him to throw. But it makes you wonder if he was weighing both options, and so if his mind was in two different places and you're thinking about where do you throw before you catch the ball, I mean, you got to go catch then throw with the thought process. And you were talking about deja vu earlier. It was an error at short that brought in Reading's second run and tying run the last time these two teams played. And now an error at short has brought in Brookline's second run, and it's the go-ahead run. As now coming up, you talked about being the lone lefty back in your day. We got the lone lefty of this day, and that's Brage Golding. He's had one single already, and we know he's the bunt master, so things can get weird when Brage Golding is at the plate. Let's see what he does.
Third baseman didn't get the scouting report.
Pitch. Oh, he didn't, and this is a bunt. Is it gonna? It stays fair. It froze on the third base line, and Brage Golding gets another bunt single. That was a tandem call right there. we called that one together.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That was a Nance and Romo move right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes you Nance, me Roma. I hope that I'm in that good company, and he's so quick, but the turf, he was able to lay down that perfect ball that didn't go too far. Sometimes when, it goes off the bat very quickly, it'll go right to the third baseman, but he just dropped that in perfectly.
Bases loaded now with one out for Owen Roach. First pitch in, strike one. If there is a time for Roach to break out of his slump, bases loaded, one-run ball game, last inning of regulation of the semifinals. The 0-1 pitch is high for ball one. I mean, at this point, even if his plate patience pays off in a walk, that would definitely be huge. One run can mean anything in this game.
I try not to be biased, but I'm rooting for Roach.
The pitch, he swings, grounded over to short, fielded cleanly, thrown home. They get the lead runner, throw to first, not in time. So a fielder's choice. 6-2 the play. Rothman is out at home, and we've got two down with the bases still loaded for Rocco Shorgi. The score, Brookline 2, Reading 1. Pitch, outside for ball one. We were talking before about how important it is for the catcher to block things when you got a runner on. Now you got a runner on third. If something gets past him, that could be a run. The 1-0 pitch from McCadden. Just low, ball two. Although I will say the backstop here is a little shorter than some other parks, sort of like what they have back in Brookline at Warren Field. Gives the catcher a little bit more of a chance to recover. 2-0 the count, the pitch. Hits the zone this time, strike one.
This might be even shorter than Warren. This is real close backstop.
Rocco Shorgi facing the 2-1 count against Cullen McCadden. The pitch. Swings, skies it, foul to the right side. He's been fouling off a million pitches today, making the Reading pitchers work.
I'd be shocked if this was the last pitch we saw from Shorgi. He does not give up.
2-2 the count. Pitch. Swung on and grounded. It's a high hopper over to shortstop. Fields it, pumps, throws, just got him. Well, you jinxed it that time. It was the last pitch we saw from Shorgi, but he at least put it in play. It was a tough play for the shortstop, Chris Shin, but he redeems himself a little bit, gets the last out of the inning. We're heading to the bottom of the 7th. Brookline 2, Reading 1. Tension so thick you could cut it with a knife.
And look who's coming back out.
They're sending Caleb Mcgrath back out on the mound. You know, that speaks to the confidence they got in him, given he just gave up the tying run the previous inning. But they say, hey, we got one back for you. Now go get it done. And you know what? I kind of understand it, because late game is where he has thrived on the mound in past appearances. He's usually a relief pitcher. He got that one-out save against Waltham the last playoff game. Very technically counted as a save, as there were a couple runners on. So the on-deck hitter, either the at-bat hitter or the on-deck hitter, counted as the potential tying run. You got to calculate the stats somehow. They can be a little weird sometimes.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this doesn't show up in the stat book, but I've spent a lot of time around Caleb Mcgrath, you know, very good friend of my brother, Owen, and he hasn't been able to go, you know, really stretch it out because of some injuries this year. And seeing him pitching all 7, coming out for this last, you know, hopefully last appearance, is just so great to see. And one thing that he should be proud of that he can carry into this is it seems like they've gotten through that scariest part of the lineup.
They have, as due up is first up the relief pitcher, Cullen McCadden. Following him will be Nate Heithouse, who is now playing third. And then Chris Shin. So a bunch of guys looking for redemption, the 2 pitchers and the shortstop whose error brought in the go-ahead run. First up, number 10, Cullen McCadden. First pitch is outside, ball 1. And I'll say, they may be through the tough part of the lineup, but you can't underestimate the bottom of Reading's lineup. As Mcgrath delivers the 1-0. Swung on, connected. He sends this one out to right center field. It's being chased. Oh no, they collided and dropped it. The throw down to second. Gets away from Roach, and he slides in safely.
That's the thing. Anything can happen in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's a routine fly ball, and just a lack of communication put a guy on second base, a runner in scoring position, with no outs.
Yep. And you know, you've got a guy like John Kim out there, usually a pitcher or an infielder, now playing outfield due to, like you said, his sore arm from pitching previously. So not in a position he's not necessarily as used to as some others. As coming up is Nate Heithouse, the original starting pitcher, now third baseman, with a runner on second and nobody out.
We'll see if they decide to lay down the bunt here.
The score, Brookline 2, Reading Red 1. The pitch. He lays down the bunt. Fielded by Mcgrath, checks third, can't make it there. Throws to first, almost didn't get him, but Rothman smartly realized that, oh my gosh, I landed away from the bag and quickly stepped.
Yeah, great adjustment not only by Rothman, but by Caleb. That was a beautiful bunt to the right side as you try and advance the runner from second to third, but he still took a look over his shoulder to see if he had time, saw that the play wasn't there, and, you know, made the easy out at first base. It may have seemed a little bit more difficult with that, you know.
Yeah, just a slightly far throw. Rothman comes down. He's to the left of the bag, and he's like, oh, shoot. Steps on it quickly. But either way, it'll be 1 out and a runner on third in this 1-run ball game. And coming up to the plate, hoping for some real redemption here, is the shortstop, number 11, Chris Shin.
You cannot give him anything to elevate here. This is the batter who wants to hit the sacrifice fly to drive in the runner, and you can't give him something to hit deep into the outfield.
Mcgrath steps up the bag temporarily, now steps back in. Shin 0 for 2 so far with a strikeout. First pitch from Mcgrath. Swung on and missed, strike 1. Caught him with the high heat.
It is tough to lay off that pitch for some guys.
And the more velocity you got, the less time you got to figure out where it's coming. 0-1 the count. Gets him with the high heat again, strike 2. Tough thing about a fastball is it gives the illusion that it's rising, when really it's just not dipping as much as other pitches because it's coming from an elevated position. 0-2 the count to Shin. The pitch. Swung on and connected, and he's sending it up the middle. This ball game is tied. Chris Shin with the redemption story this inning as his single up the middle drives in Cullen McCadden. And once again, the game is tied 2-2.
Yeah, he tried to give him a different look there, you know, with the two high heaters. You know, it took a little bit off it, something down, but couldn't fool him.
Pitch in there for strike 1 to Bill Benneke. Chris Shin standing at first. 1 out in the inning, and the ball game tied 2-2. The pitch, runner goes. Reed pulls up, throws down to second, and he's safe.
It's a great throw, you know, great pop time, but it almost seemed like the runner had his move timed and was able to get a great jump because of it.
So the game-winning run is now in scoring position here in the bottom of the 7th. 0-2 is the count to Benneke. A hit to the outfield could end this game. Mcgrath checks second a couple times. The 0-2 pitch, he fouls it. Back to us, but the fence is in the way, so we're fine. Oh, 0-2 still the count as Benneke stays alive. Mcgrath checks second. Winds and delivers. Catches him inside for the 3rd strike.
Beautiful pitch there. He just couldn't react to that, you know, and that's the thing when you change pitchers, when you change different pitches and speeds, it's just so difficult to adjust when the ball's coming in 70, 80 miles an hour.
Absolutely. And now coming up, the number 10 hitter for Reading and the guy who scored the go-ahead run in the last playoff game between these two, Mike Dipietro.
No batting gloves.
Mcgrath checks the runner at second and fires. He shows bunt, but fouls it behind the backstop. Or fouls it to the backstop, I should say. Strike 1.
You don't see it happen very often, but both 10 hitters between Brookline and Reading aren't afraid to show that bunt with 2 outs.
Absolutely. 0-1, the count to Dipietro. Mcgrath checks the runner at second. Checks him again. And pulls back. Check the runner again. Chris Shin representing the potential game-winning run at second base here in the Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinals. The pitch swung on and missed, and that's strike 2.
We'll see what Caleb goes to here, ahead in the count.
0-2, 2 outs. 2-2 the score, and runner on second. 2s everywhere on this board right now. As Mcgrath steps off temporarily, then back onto the mound. Checks the runner back at second. The 0-2 pitch. He swings and connects. It's a slow roller over to third, picked up by Shorgi, thrown to Rothman, and that ends the inning. I dared to say it before, and I may have jinxed us because we are headed for everybody's 2 favorite words. Say it for me, Jack.
Extra innings. And what I love about these early games is we don't have to worry about the sun going down. We don't have to have a time limit. You can't start another inning. We're going to be here until the winning team earns the W.
Absolutely. No games called due to darkness. It's not going to be like the game out in Waltham that Brookline had earlier this year, where it ended on a 3-run homer by the losing team.
Yeah.
Still the most bizarre ending I've ever seen in a baseball game.
I remember the ball was hit deep to right field, and the right fielder, Aiden Chin, he was out there, almost parked under it, and then the ball landed.
Yeah, no,
like
he literally had his hands out at his sides like, where? Where is it?
I asked him after the game, so did you ever catch sight of it? And he said he only knew that the ball was coming his way because Owen, playing second base, looked at him like trying to track the ball. Where is it?
Oh, man. See, that's what happens when you can't get the stadium lights on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
not only do we have an early game, we've got stadium lights here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are at a college ballpark, as this is usually the home of Suffolk University's baseball team. So you'd like to believe that they would work this time. No assumptions, but you'd like to believe. As Cullen McCadden returns to the mound after giving up the go-ahead run in the top of the 7th. He now returns for the top of the 8th. Starting this inning off will be that right fielder we were talking about, but of course today playing second base, number 16, Aiden Chin. First pitch from McCadden is low for ball 1.
This is a scary part of Brookline's lineup to start extra innings with.
Absolutely. Pitch from McCadden, outside ball 1. You talk about these 3, 4, 5 hitters for Brookline, Chin, Reed, and Mcgrath. They combined for 10 runs scored and 8 RBIs coming into this game. Pitch is high for ball 3. It's a 3-0 count.
That is really tough. You know, anything can change in a matter of pitches, but you do not want to walk the first batter of the inning.
Absolutely not. Fourth pitch just catches the corner for strike 1.
This is a good position to be in for Chin. You know, ahead in the count, sitting on that pitch, and if you don't get it, don't swing.
The pitch comes and it's inside. That's ball 4. And you're talking about when the leadoff hitter walks, your chances to score go up monumentally. Because now you have the ability to make those sacrifice plays, move the runners along, get them in scoring position, and maybe get that go-ahead run.
Yeah, it really opens up so many possibilities for the offensive team. You know, Aiden Chin, great base runner. He could end up on second, you know, open the door for a bunt, open the door for so many different offensive plays.
You talk about bunt. The cleanup hitter, Jasper Reed, was showing bunt, pulled back, and the pitch is in there for strike 1. Not a typical scenario where you see your cleanup hitter showing bunt on the first pitch. Either way, 0-1 the count. They throw back to first, and Chin dives back safely.
And you see stuff like that happen all the time. You know, I played for Coach Bucci, and he will do anything with anyone, you know, just to get that W.
The 0-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled to the left side by Reed. So 0-2 the count to Jasper Reed. Runner on first. Nobody out. Pitch from McCadden. Inside, ball 1.
Yeah, you don't really see umpires giving guys the high strike on the curveball.
So Reed facing a 1-2 count here in the top of the 8th inning. The runner on first. Pitch, Chin takes off, and the pitch is in the dirt, and Chin is going to successfully steal second.
Now we've got a runner in scoring position.
Absolutely. So 2-2, the count to Reed. Go ahead run on second. The pitch is low and away for ball 3. And Brookline showing some action in the bullpen. Your brother, Owen Roach, warming up.
Let's hope he can be effective against Reading this time.
The pitch catches the inside corner, and Reed goes down on strikes. Brookline was not happy about that call.
That is tough.
And that'll be 1 out with a runner on second for Caleb Mcgrath. He scored the first run after a double to deep left, a balk, and then a sacrifice fly. We'll see what he can do this time as they throw back to second. And Chin dives back safely. Looks like he wasn't going to throw it first. Then the second baseman got back there in time, and he decided to make the throw. But Chin was able to hustle his way back. First pitch to Mcgrath. Low and away, ball 1.
It's almost just a little reminder, you know, to the guy on second, even if it's not his best move, just, hey, you know, I know you're there. Don't get crazy on me.
1-0, the count to Caleb Mcgrath. Runner on second, 1 out. Pitch, swung on and missed, strike 1. Again, the score, Brookline 2, Reading Red 2. Here in the semifinals of the Lou Tompkins All-Star League Tournament. The 1-1 pitch is low and away for ball 2. Again, nice blocking by Nick Marshall. I feel like we can't say enough about both teams' catchers, Marshall and Reed. They haven't let anyone get free bases off of wild pitches. You've got to work for them.
It makes a huge difference to the pitcher, just in terms of comfort level.
2-1. He swings and connects. This is a grounder to the left side. Fielded by the third baseman. Does not apply the tag. Throws to first. And Mcgrath is out at first. But some smart base running by Aiden Chin as he just sort of like matrix dodged a little there to avoid the tagging glove of the third baseman, Nate Heithouse.
Yeah, that was definitely impressive. You know, able to avoid the double play and give Brookline some hope of tacking on a run here in this 8th inning. You know, we'll see if Andrew Silverman, who really has had a great season and can sometimes come up big in these clutch situations, we'll see if he can deliver here.
Andrew Silverman, the only Brookline hitter with an RBI so far today, thanks to that sac fly to center field, as their second run came as a result of a fielding error. And, you know, while we give credit to Chin for the base running, I'll give a little credit to Heithouse. He almost made a spectacular heads-up play that could have ended the inning. But instead, we've got 2 outs and the go-ahead run at third base for the center fielder, number 22, Andrew Silverman. Pitch from McCadden. Swung on and missed, strike 1.
That was a nice off-speed pitch. You know, sometimes guys aren't comfortable throwing it first pitch in the count, but clearly he has that in his arsenal.
The 0-1 pitch. Just a bit outside, ball 1.
Just barely missed, but showing some very great command early in the count.
The 1-1. Catches the zone this time, 1-2 now the count.
Painting those corners.
McCadden sets the 1-2 pitch. He swings and connects. This is a grounder over to second. Fielded by the second baseman, thrown to first. They got him. So Brookline threatens but cannot score in the top of the 8th inning. And we head to the bottom of the 8th with the score still Brookline 2, Reading Red 2, here in the semifinals of the Lou Tompkins All-Star League Tournament here at East Boston Memorial Park, the typical home of the Suffolk University baseball team. Once again, I am Jesse Mayfield Sheehan alongside Jack Roach, as it looks like Caleb Mcgrath is coming back out onto the mound for his 8th inning of work. You talk about deja vu. I'm getting deja vu back to Brookline's regular season finale against Medford. That game was tied at 1 at the end of regulation, and they sent their pitcher for that day, Jake Levin, out for 8 innings of work. And credit to him, he pitched beautifully for 8 innings. Unfortunately, things didn't end well in the 9th.
And in this time around, I think we should make note that Brookline has played an incredible defensive game, and what got them into trouble down the stretch is they were allowing base runners after the pitcher was hitting, giving up relatively weak contact. They loaded the bases, and that's what cost them.
Yep. And of course, last inning, the tying run scored in large part thanks to an error as the center fielder Andrew Silverman and right fielder John Kim collided, tracking down a fly ball out in right center. That put on the runner who would ultimately score the game-tying run. Now, leading off the bottom of the 8th, we got the top of the order coming, starting with the center fielder, number 9, Steve Webb. His last time up, he grounded out to short to start the bottom of the 6th. The pitch swung on and missed, strike 1.
You aren't joking about these lefties. They're really top to bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 of their first 6 hitters are left-handed. Pitch swung on and missed, strike 2. And regardless of whether the advantage, of what the advantage is, whether they throw inside or not, it's just, it throws off your rhythm, I feel like, because you're so used to, of course, by this point, Caleb Mcgrath is used to this lineup. As the 0-2 pitch, he skies it. Out to shallow center, being tracked by the second baseman, caught by Chin, and that'll be the first out.
That's what helps about having an outfielder playing second base, because how important it is to communicate on those high fly balls. And Chin parked himself right under it and said, "That ball's mine." Easy out.
Absolutely. Now coming up is the right fielder, number 3, Logan Nowicki. Nowicki, his last time up, he also grounded out to the shortstop in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch, outside, ball 1. Want to know the count? Mcgrath delivers. Grounded over to third, fielded well by Shorgi, but he stumbles getting up, throw to first. He got him! Nice stretch by Eli Rothman. And they get the second out of the inning. Credit to both fielders on that one. Rocco Shorgi fielded a hard hit ball, that's why they call it the hot corner. And he stumbled getting back up from the reach, but was able to recover and get a throw off just in time as Eli Rothman made the nice stretch at first base. 2 outs, and up is Nick Marshall. First pitch, in there for a strike.
We're playing on turf, so you don't see any dirt stains, but Rocco is always diving, laying himself out for the balls.
The 0-1 pitch is low and inside, ball 1. Nick Marshall, his last time up, hit a single up the middle, and later came around to score Reading's first run on that big triple to right center by Cole Tully. Now facing a 1-1 count with 2 outs and the bases empty. Score tied at 2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. The pitch swung on and connected. This is a grounder over to short, fielded by Roach, thrown to first, and they got him.
Gotta love that turf field. You can sit back and let that one come to you. Sometimes you have to be aggressive and go get that ball, but, he was still able to make the out and sit and stay where he wanted to be.
Yeah, turf definitely results in far fewer of those weird hops you sometimes see on a grass field where maybe the ground is uneven or like you catch the edge of the grass before the dirt. You don't see that as much with turf because it's just kind of flat all the way across.
Mm-hmm.
So Reading goes down in order, pop out to second, ground out to third, ground out to short. All of the infielders getting involved in one way or another. And coming out for another inning of work is Cullen McCadden, who is the guy who potentially lost this game, giving up the second run in the top of the 7th, but then redeemed himself by scoring the game-tying run in the bottom of the 2nd after reaching on that error we were talking about where the two outfielders collided. Coming to the plate will be the back end of Brookline's lineup. It'll be Eli Rothman, John Kim, and Brage Golding.
I said it already, but you know they've really been so important for this Brookline lineup today. You know, there's no easy out on this team, and I don't think there's an easy out on either team, and that's why we're playing an MLB game right now. We're in the 9th inning.
Yep, you're not wrong. We are now reaching what would be regulation for a major league game. But hey, we got more people in the stands here than most major league games these days. I will say that.
That's true.
So take that for whatever you will.
A lot of masks.
Yes. So first up will be Eli Rothman. He has flown out to left, singled to right, and singled through the right gap. So he's 2 for 3 right now. Was an important part of what at the time was a go-ahead rally for Brookline in the top of the 7th. Now hoping to get things going again. First pitch from McCadden. In there for strike 1.
He's swinging a hot bat today, and hopefully he can be an integral part of the next big rally.
0-1 the count. McCadden with the pitch. Swings and fouls it to the right side. Happy that was away from our camera guy, who is just sort of going, phew. That's been his waking nightmare this entire game, is that a righty's going to come up and it's going to send one right at him.
It's not a problem for Reading. A lot of lefties.
Yeah, you're not wrong. 0-2 the count. Pitch. Over his head, ball 1. You talk about Rothman, he can be a streaky hitter at times. Sometimes he'll go several games without a hit, but then sometimes he comes in and he's got a hot bat, gets a couple hits, and contributes big time to the offense.
And some great defense at first base as well.
Absolutely. The 1-2. High for ball 2.
Looks like he's losing a bit of command on his pitches. You know, that curveball he just lost, and then a fastball up in the zone as well.
Cullen McCadden in his 3rd inning of work. 2-2 pitch. Reaches out and fouls it to the backstop. Count remains 2-2.
And Rothman's shown he's going to swing that bat.
He's been swinging it well today. 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Two pitch number 2. He tips it. He caught him chasing a low pitch, but he just managed to get a piece of it. He was almost trying to check his swing. He knew he got fooled on that one, but he managed to catch a piece and stay alive.
He's taking a piece out of Rocco Shorgi's book, you know, not going down without a fight.
2-2, still the count to Eli Rothman. Pitch from McCadden. He connects on this one. It's a slow dribbler over to third, fielded by Heighthouse. He pumps, throws, and he's got him. 5-3 ground out to start the top of the 9th.
Good defensive play by the third baseman. Not an easy out to make, but, you know, showed some good poise, charging the ball, and then making the out at first.
Now coming up, the right fielder, number 47, John Kim. 1 out, nobody on. McCadden's first pitch is low for ball 1. Kim so far has flown out to right, hit into a fielder's choice, and reached on an error at short. Next pitch is in there for strike 1.
the importance of getting on base here is looking down, seeing Brage coming up next, and the ability to lay down the bunt, and then a runner in scoring position for the top of the lineup.
Next pitch is outside for ball 2. The 2-1 pitch is high for ball 3.
An enviable count for John Kim here.
3-1 is the count. McCadden with the pitch. Swung on and grounded hard over to second, but fielded cleanly, thrown cleanly, and caught cleanly. The 4-3 ground out puts 2 outs in the inning.
That's tough, you know, when you're ahead. You know, sometimes you get a little greedy. You know, you think that you can just swing hard and that'll make up for it, but that ball a little bit outside and maybe not swing at the pitch you want.
Now up, number 11, the left fielder, Brage Golding.
They got the report this time.
Third baseman way in as Golding swings and fouls to the backstop. It's funny, out of a couple of Golding's at-bats, they've definitely had that third baseman like halfway between third and home, preparing for Golding's bunts. They didn't have him though last time as he laid down a bunt single as part of that 7th inning rally. We'll see what he can do here with 2 outs.
He's got a sneaky amount of power, and teams don't realize that just because of how frequently he bunts.
0-1 is the count to Golding. McCadden with the pitch. Swings and fouls it to the backstop again. Strike 2.
He's not afraid to swing that bat. I actually played a scrimmage with these guys. I played right field, and he hit a fly ball like 20 feet, you know, over my head.
The 0-2 pitch from McCadden. Swings and misses. Strike 3.
And sometimes the desire to swing the bat puts you in those situations. A ball maybe 6 inches off the plate, you know, you just give a go at it, and wasn't able to connect this time around.
Yep. So Brookline goes down in order in the top of the 9th. Ground out to third, ground out to second, strikeout swinging. And we get ready for the bottom of the 9th. And back out on the mound is Mcgrath. They're making him work today. He's coming out for his 9th inning on the mound.
Almost a little change in attitude. You saw him. He walked out with a grin on his face, laughing. I think that first inning of extras can be a little bit intimidating. You know, you feel the nerves, but he's in a position now where he's like, hey, you know, I'm going to give it what I've got. And I think that can be very relieving or, you know, a stress relief for a guy that's thrown as many pitches as he has today.
And certainly give a guy a bit of relief as he faces one of the more dangerous portions of the Reading lineup, Cole Tully, who had that big RBI triple earlier today. Brian Marshall, who hit in the go-ahead run in the last the last playoff game. And then Cullen McCadden, who scored the game-tying run earlier today.
The only thing you can be saying to yourself is, you know, thank God we got past Nick Marshall. He swings a hot bat.
So now up the extra hitter, Cole Tully. First pitch is just low for ball 1. One 0 pitch is in the dirt this time for ball 2. 2-0 pitch. Just a bit outside, ball 3. Mcgrath missing the zone early.
Don't want to walk the first guy of the inning.
Mcgrath winds the 3-0. Down Broadway, strike 1.
Ooh, that's not a good look. Sometimes umps don't like it when you throw the bat or pretend to, you know, in disdain with the call.
3-1 pitch. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. That'll be strike 2. So Mcgrath fights his way back to a full count after the early 3-0.
Just like that, full count. Things get interesting.
Tully steps back in. Pitch from Mcgrath. Swung on and missed. And he gets the first guy down on strikes. Nerves of steel with this kid. He's faced jam after jam after jam. And he's getting a standing ovation from the Brookline crowd, as it looks like he'll likely be taken out. He's leaving the mound. A well-deserved round of applause. 8 1/3 innings of work. He leaves with a no decision. And coming onto the mound, I think it's Aiden Chin. Yeah, he was walking off it for a second. I was like, maybe he's going back to second base. No, he's stepping on the mound.
And look at that. Look who's coming back to join them in the infield is Caleb Mcgrath. And I think you have to wonder if going into this inning, this 9th inning, you know, coach tells you this is your last batter. And knowing that, it gives you the ability to kind of reach back for that last batter, even when you're down 3-0, and say, this is my last guy. We're going to throw some strikes. And just an incredible job to fight back and get that swinging strikeout.
And fighting back has been the name of the game for much of Caleb Mcgrath's outing. He faced several early jams, got out of all of them to keep it a scoreless game. Couldn't quite hold the lead, in part due to some fielding mistakes. But ultimately, whenever that jam started up again after they tied it, he never let them take the lead. We'll see if Aiden Chin is able to take over and keep the game tied.
Aiden Chin, not a guy we've seen a ton of appearances from, but, you know, in my experience, I've seen what he has been able to do. You know, he can reach back and give you that fast heater, but he's also shown some pretty impressive off-speed pitches that hopefully will be able to fool these Reading batters.
Now coming to the plate, number 17, the designated hitter, Brian Marshall. No one on and one out. Aiden Chin with his first pitch. Just low for ball 1.
Got squeezed there.
The 1-0 pitch. And it's fouled down the right side. 1-1 is now the count.
1-1, but you definitely have to be impressed by the command. First 2 pitches, same exact spot, and got him to swing at one of them.
1-1 pitch. He chops this one slowly over to second. Fielded, flipped, and he beats him there.
That was a pretty off-speed pitch there. Looks like a curveball of some sort. It's got some funny spin, but he throws the fastball, same spot, and then fools the batter with that off-speed pitch there. You know, gentle contact to Caleb Mcgrath, who's able to seal the deal at first base.
Yes, Caleb Mcgrath playing second base after basically just making a one-position swap with Chin. And now the first pitch to Cullen McCadden is swung on and missed for strike 1.
Nice high fastball by Aiden there.
0-1 the count. 2 down, nobody on. Pitch inside, ball 1, dangerously close to hitting the batter.
But not a bad look either. You know, you definitely want your pitcher to be confident coming inside with those pitches.
1-1 count. In there for strike 1. Strike 2. I can count.
Goes back to that pitch that he's been so comfortable with and really just painting the corner there outside.
1-2 pitch. Inside, ball 2.
I don't know if you saw my brother Owen jumping up. He thought he had
I think Reed was also jumping up. He was getting ready to throw it around the infield in celebration.
But we will
instead
see.
it's a 2-2 count.
We will see.
Pitch is low for ball 3.
What do you think he goes to here? Full count? What pitch is coming?
I think he's going to drop it off the table, try and fool him low. Oh, he did drop it, but he dropped it from high, and it didn't drop enough, and that's going to be a walk.
Yeah, you had the right idea, but execution ultimately was not there. You know, looked good, but must have just missed.
Now coming up, the third baseman and original starting pitcher, Nate Heithouse. 2 outs, runner on first. Pitch from Chin. Swung on and missed, strike 1.
They got saved there. That was definitely not the call, you know, bouncing that fastball, but a swing nonetheless.
0-1 pitch. It hits him. Heithouse with the patience to stand in there and let that one just catch his left shoulder. And now we've got runners on first and second, and the game-winning run is in scoring position once again. And it is Chris Shin. He drove in the tying run back in the 7th. Pitch in there for strike 1.
Shin versus Chin here. We'll see who gets the better of the at-bat.
Battle of rhymes here in the 9th inning. Pitch swung on and missed. Strike 2. Fooled him with another high pitch.
He swung it too
Two high heats.
Yes,
against Mcgrath last at bat. Now he faces an 0-2 count once again. Pitch high, and he doesn't swing this time. Ball 1.
Able to hold off this time around. Maybe he heard our conversation.
1-2 pitch. Almost got him on the curving pitch, but it drops low and away, and he holds his swing. That'll be ball 2.
Good idea, though. You know, ahead in the count, throws a pitch that almost fell in there, and he almost went golfing for it.
Pitch.
That
he catches the
is
zone,
it.
and he gets him looking. Shin very unhappy about that call.
He better be careful.
We are going to be going into the top of the 10th inning. I'm going to have to switch my live audio broadcast from my laptop to my phone because my laptop's about to die. So for those of you listening to this live, the broadcast is going to cut out briefly as we're between innings. But stay tuned, refresh the page, and the broadcast will be back in a second.
Now going into the 10th inning, we'll see if Brookline can get on the board now, rolling out the top of the lineup.
Indeed. We are facing the top of the lineup. That'll be Roach, Shorgi, and Chin.
You know, early in this season, they really thrived off of each other's presence in the order. You know, all having incredible seasons, and you know, now here in the 10th inning, 2-2, not a lot of action from the offense on both teams. It'll be really exciting to see if Owen, Rocco, Aiden, Jasper, Caleb can, you know, get things going.
Absolutely. And returning back to the mound for, I believe, his 4th inning of work is Cullen McCadden. We saw 6 innings from Nate Heithouse to start this game, and then Cullen McCadden came on in the 7th and has been pitching ever since.
He's done a great job too.
He has. He gave up the 2nd run of the game in that 1st inning, but since then he is settled in and shut Brookline down. And we'll see if the top of the order can finally find its rhythm for Brookline. Maybe bring in a score.
Yeah, you see these MLB teams trying to implement the opener, you know, to give the top of the order a different look. And we'll see here if these guys are able to take what they've learned and, you know, apply it to these at-bats.
Yep. Another thing that makes you think is how MLB is debating like that put a runner on second to start the extra inning rule that's already implemented in some minor leagues. Really makes you wonder where we would be in this game with that kind of scenario. As Owen Roach steps to the plate. The pitch. In there for strike one. Oh and 1 the count. Pitch. Dips into the zone for strike 2. 0-2 the count. McAdam showing some nice movement on that pitch. Now the 0-2 pitch. It's low for ball 1. McAdam with the 1-2. Low again for ball 2. Roach showing that plate patience, trying to fight his way back into a more advantageous count.
He learned that from me.
The 2-2 is low again for ball 3. McAdam can't seem to get to elevate his pitches enough to get into that strike zone.
This is it, 3-2.
McAdam with the payoff pitch. Swung on, and it's popped foul to the right side. And the count remains 3-2.
Not the pitch that he wanted, but, you know, you don't get the opportunity to be selective here. You know, you don't get what you like. Foul it away and, you know, just do what you can to fight your way on base.
3-2, still the count to Roach. The pitch, swung on and connected and lined right to the shortstop who makes the jumping grab.
That is tough.
That is tough. That's the best contact he's had in a while. And it like almost anywhere else in the infield, but he hit it right at a guy. Now with 1 out in the inning, we have Rocco Shorgi. Pitch. Drops into the zone again for a strike. Now the 0-1. That one stays high for ball 1. That looked like he was trying to do the same pitch again and it just kind of hung on him.
Yeah, sometimes you leave that curveball high and you can get yourself in all sorts of damage.
Pitch, and it's fouled to the backstop by Shorgi. 1-2 now the count.
Do you think we get a classic Rocco at bat? Foul balls going left and right.
Well, we'll certainly see. We've got the 1-2 pitch, and it just misses the zone. Again, Redding not happy about that one. It is looking like we're getting a classic Rocco at bat as he starts working up the count and working up that pitch count.
And that's a tough pitch, you know, like that could go either way. And, you know, good for Rocco for laying off it.
2-2. He fouls this one to the backstop again. I try not to laugh, but it's every at bat with this guy.
Yeah, he likes that high fastball. Swinging at it a couple times.
Yeah, he just doesn't like sending it into the field of play. He likes sending it to the backstop.
Yet.
Pitch, and this one is high and over his head, and he's worked it to a full count.
Back-to-back full counts for Brookline.
They've got good plate patience, especially at the top of the order. We talked about it before. Even if they're not getting on base, they're working that pitch count. Payoff pitch. He connects and sends this one out to right field. The right fielder is under it, and he's got it. So 2 down in the inning for Brookline, as now coming up is the relief pitcher, Aiden Chin. Chin, his last time up, he was hit by a pitch, but did not get much further than that. Pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Now the 1-0. He connects. It's a slow hopper over to third, picked up by the third baseman, thrown to first. He dropped it. And Aiden Chin accidentally went to his left after he got past the bag, so he actually had to go back. Otherwise, the first baseman was going to tag him.
Yeah, that was definitely surprising. And here's the thing. You're in a situation where you will take any base runner possible. And here we are with 2 outs. You've got a power hitter up. You've got a good base runner on. And, you know, Coach Bucci will try and make things interesting here in the 10th inning.
Yeah, and you talk about base running. That was really almost kind of a forced error there, as not only was it a tough, slow hopper down the third base line that the third baseman had to grab and throw on the run. The throw ended up coming a little to the first baseman's left, very close to where the base runner already was. That made the catch just that much harder. And credit to Bill Benneke. He's done a good job at first base for Reading, but he couldn't collect that one. Runner on first, 2 down for Jasper Reed. First pitch is high, ball 1.
It's not an easy play to make.
Reed, his last time up, grounded out to third to end the top of the 6th. Pitch is high for ball 2.
Just left the fastball high these past 2 pitches. Definitely try and change things up here. We'll see what he leans on.
I think we might see a curve or an off speed as he throws back to first. My fault, I didn't include a pickoff attempt in my options.
He might have thrown off speed to first base.
Well, it was certainly too slow to catch Chin as Reed skies this one out to left field. Left fielder's tracking it, and he's under it, and he's got the catch.
That ball hit a mile in the air, but ultimately able to be tracked down by Reading.
Reed certainly getting enough height on his swings. He's just got to get that length. Got to get a little further out. But the top of the 10th ends with 1 base runner for Brookline, and the score remains Brookline 2, Reading 2, as we head into the bottom of the 10th inning.
Look who's coming out here.
We've got another new pitcher. This is Owen Roach coming on in relief of Aiden Chin.
I've never had to, you know, like there's at-bats here and there in this game, but, you know, this is uninterrupted, a whole half inning of seeing,
your brother
seeing
pitching.
Owen pitching, you know. It's definitely, I mean, it's his game, but it's stressful for me. You know, I want him to do well.
Absolutely. And of course, like you said, he wants a better outing against this team than what he got last time, because that last playoff outing, he came on and granted, give him credit, that was a tough relief position for him to come into. I believe it was bases loaded with nobody out. First guy, bases loaded, walks, so already he was in a tougher position. Give him credit, strikeout, pop out, he had him in position. Next guy hits a grounder to short, just juggled. And that brought in the tying run, and then Brian Marshall hit that single up the middle that was the dagger.
Yeah, it's obviously a different situation when you don't inherit, you know, 3 base runners. And I think that's really important because you can get creative earlier in these counts, you know, change the looks up and go to things that maybe you aren't as confident throwing when there are no outs and you have the bases loaded. So obviously the stakes are high, but it gives you a bit of flexibility in what you can go to.
Absolutely. Not just in terms of like throwing balls or strikes, but like hits into the field. One mistake isn't going to mean a run. You don't want those mistakes. They're still crucial potentially, but definitely a very different situation as the first baseman, Bill Benneke, steps to the plate to start off the bottom of the 10th inning for Reading. First pitch from Roach. Drops into the dirt, ball 1.
That's the thing about Owen. You know, like, he's not 200 pounds. He will never overpower you, and he thrives off of that weak contact that he gets guys to ground into.
Pitch. Strike. Had a little bit more speed on that pitch and managed to fool Benneke inside. 1-1 now the count. Pitch from Roach. Outside, ball 2.
He doesn't get cheated, but definitely could put on a couple pounds in the offseason.
2-1 pitch.
There we go.
In the zone from maybe the future hot dog eating contest competitor. So he can, you know, fill out a little more.
Yeah.
The 2-2 pitch from Roach. Oh, just outside.
That was a beautiful pitch.
Reed was thinking strikeout. You could tell he was hopping up, ready to throw down to third, cycle it around the infield. Ump said, nope, he missed.
That's the thing. That was exactly what he wanted. You know, he hit his spot.
The payoff pitch. And he fouls it to the backstop. I think he actually might have fooled him a little bit on that. I think that was supposed to be a pitch that dipped into the zone, and I think it hung, and I think Benneke got fooled anyway, swung where it was supposed to dip to, undercut it, fouled it to the backstop.
I like that analysis.
I can come up with some every now and again. Pitch. Gets him high again, and he fouls down the right side.
Even when he throws it a bit out of the zone, Benneke's going chasing here.
In sort of that swing at everything mentality when you're defending a 2-strike count. 3-2 again. This time over his head, and that'll be a walk. Now coming up, the left fielder, number 7, Mike Dipietro.
Don't be surprised if we see a bunt here.
With the top of the lineup due up, it certainly would make sense. First pitch from Roach. He does show bunt, and he lays it down. Shorgi playing short. He throws in and throws first, and he's got him. A smart jump to the inside of the infield by Rocco Shorgi as he was able to track it down. I mean, if he was out of position, that could have gone for a bunt single easily.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was definitely a great bunt. Not only did he do his job, he almost ended up safe himself at first base. So now we find ourselves top of the lineup, 1 out, man in scoring position.
Yes, and not just any man, but the potential winning run, as now up is the center fielder, Steve Webb. Pitch. Dips just low and inside, ball 1. Webb, of course, potentially dangerous hitter. He led off the bottom half of this game in the bottom of the first with a double to left field. Pitch. Outside this time, ball 2.
You lose a lot of confidence as a pitcher when, you know, the ump's not giving you a certain pitch, and you kind of have to go to other areas that you are confident in.
2-0. Pitch. He swings and he skies this one. It looks like it's going to stay in the infield. Mcgrath is under it at short, and he's got it. So pops up to Owen Roach's former position as they've just sort of cycled around. Mcgrath started at pitcher, moved over to second, then moved over to short. Chin went from second to pitcher to second, and Roach went from short to pitcher.
Yeah, these guys can really do it all, and it's helped them all season long when one of them comes in to pitch.
Now up is the right fielder, Logan Nowicki. Pitch. He hits him.
ultimately, not what you want to see, but not that big of a deal. You basically just force the out at third.
It's basically an intentional walk. It's just, with a little bit of potential physical damage for the batter. As he creates the force at third, second, and first with 2 outs, rather. Up comes Nick Marshall.
Not who you want to see in this situation here.
Roach checks the runner at second a couple times, delivers. This ball is high for ball 1. Bill Benneke stands at second with a potential game-winning run. Logan Nowicki over at first, 2 out in the bottom of the 10th. Roach with the pitch. He skies this one deep out to center field. Silverman's going back. He seems to have it under it. He's got the catch. That was a heart attack for all Brookline fans. You okay there, Jack?
I didn't even look at it. I didn't even look at it because I just saw the ball hit in the air and my heart sunk. And I heard you say, Silverman camped under it. Oh my goodness, what a relief.
Yeah, I was like, oh dang, I'm gonna have to take Jack out of here on a stretcher after that.
Well, that is not what you want to throw to that hitter, and he was not cheated. He got a lot of that ball.
I'll tell you what I think did cheat him, because we can feel it blowing on us. We got a headwind.
You're right. I didn't even realize that.
So the wind, which aided Reading at earlier points this game, this time coming back to bite them as Nick Marshall flies out to center to end the bottom of the 10th. We are through 10 innings here at the Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinals. The score remains Brookline 2, Reading 2. This is you know what this is? This is youth baseball copying the NHL. They're like, you want a long game?
Yeah.
We'll show you a long game. We don't even have a time limit here.
5 overtimes, 5 extra innings, whatever. They are putting on a show. It's really a treat to watch this game because it's 2 really good ball games or ball clubs. We're not seeing sloppy play. We're not seeing, silly errors being made. We're seeing 17U baseball being played at its best form.
Absolutely. I mean, like you say, that one of the things is that the fielding has been very crisp. I mean, we've had errors here and there, but nothing that's a couple that have proven costly, but for the most part, the fielding has been pretty clean. And I think, like we talked about before, the turf field plays a lot into that. There's not going to be any home field advantage, where all the divots are. This is just like flat. Flat surface.
Yeah, I always like the turf. I played a little bit of outfield. I played first base, and sometimes it gets tough when you don't know if the ball is going to bounce in the grass or the dirt. Here, there's no difference. It's all the same. You get the same bounce every time.
And now, coming up, as Reading just had some of the dangerous parts of its lineup, we now feature some of the more dangerous hitters for Brookline. Leading off is Caleb Mcgrath. First pitch from McCadden is just outside ball 1. It'll be Mcgrath, Silverman, and Rothman this inning. Pitch from McCadden. Swings and he skies this one out to left. The left fielder is backtracking. He's going back. Does he have it? He's got it.
Great play by the outfielder. Back turned the whole time, but got a great read and was able to track it down on the run.
Nice catch by Mike Dipietro out in left field for Reading. And now with 1 out, coming up is Andrew Silverman. His last time up, he grounded out to second to end the top of the 8th. As the first pitch is outside for ball 1. That 8th inning was so far Brookline's best chance to get a run across. They got Aiden Chin all the way to third base, but could not bring home the go-ahead score. Pitch in there for strike 1. The count is 1-1 to Silverman.
8th inning. Doesn't that seem like a long time ago?
now 1-1. In the dirt, ball 1. Just seems to be every time with these two teams that it's just tight the entire way. They had one game that was a 4-run ball game, but everything else has just been tight. 2-1 is high for ball 3. It's like you said, two good ball clubs when they run into each other. 3-1, now the count to Silverman. Pitch from McCadden. It misses just outside, and Silverman gets a free pass to first.
And it's not just talent that these teams have, but discipline, you know? These are two well-coached teams, and we're seeing them play some smart ball. We'll see what will happen here, you know? The runner on first allows you to get creative and have some fun here.
And starting out the fun here with a runner on first and 1 out is the first baseman, Eli Rothman. Pitch, low and inside, ball 1. It just feels like you're just waiting for that one big hit from somebody on either team. I mean, we thought we had that with Nick Marshall the last half inning, but the headwind caught him, and now the pitch. Runner takes off. Rothman swings. Head first slide. He's safe.
That's a hit and run right there. You saw he might have not had the pitch that he wanted, but he just waited and waited until he could get that swing and just make the smallest difference for the catcher, allowing Silverman to get in there clean.
Yeah, exactly. I don't necessarily know whether or not they were calling for a hit and run, but it's definitely one of those where the runner is going, swing. I don't care, swing. So the count is now 1-1, and we have the potential go-ahead run at second. And he swings and fouls this one. It's behind the backstop. The catcher was starting to chase it, so was the pitcher and the third baseman. But instead, it'll fall harmlessly out of play for strike 2.
It's definitely been an extremely suspenseful game. You know, we're waiting for that one, big play to happen, but every crack of the bat, every tiny bit of action, you're holding your breath. You know?
Yes, this is the major appeal of baseball, the tension. The 1-2 pitch is high for ball 2. It's like there's that build-up in between pitches. You're like, is this going to be the pitch? Is this going to be the one?
It's definitely taken away years of my life.
McCadden checks second. 2-2. Swung on, and he skies this one over to the second baseman. Dugan is under it for another catch. So now 2 down in the inning. And coming up is the right fielder, number 47, John Kim. Runner at second. 2 down here in the top of the 11th inning of this 7-inning ball game. So we played about 151% of this ball game. Pitch, outside, ball 1.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of baseball this afternoon, and we're going to get some more.
1-0, the count to Kim. Andrew Silverman at second. Pitch. It's over his head for ball 2.
Every pitch is a battle for these guys at this point in the game. You know, even that one misfire could be so important for a hitter.
The 2-0 pitch. He swings and connects. He skies this one out to left center. This one might get past him. Is it going to be caught? Well tracked and caught.
Gotta tip your cap. What an incredible job. That is the save of the go-ahead run. You know, well-stroked ball by John Kim, but able to be tracked out. And really, these Reading outfielders have done an incredible job of tracking down, reading, and getting to those high, hard-hit fly balls.
Absolutely. A great track by the center fielder, Steve Webb, that time, as he tracked down what could have been a deep fly ball. This is one of those instances where you really have to take into account there is so much outfield to cover here at East Boston Memorial Park. I mean, I was talking with our producer before the game, and he was saying that center field fence might go out to like 600-700 feet, which is absurd. absolutely absurd.
Yeah, there is a lot of room for these hitters and outfielders, you know. I don't know if you saw that there. Owen almost stumbled off the mound. A little divot that he wasn't too fond of. That's a bit better.
Yes. But as we talk about that outfield, it's interesting because when it comes to the stuff that gets, that drops into the gap, it can keep going and give you extra bases. But when it comes to the stuff that's skied into the air, it gives the outfielders a little more room to work with, something that might put you up against a wall or even go over the wall. Wall's not there.
And we really haven't seen that too much this afternoon. Those balls that get hit in the gap and just go and go and go, at least on Brookline's side.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple for Reading, but only 2 runs, not as much necessarily to show for it.
Yes. Well, here's one of the guys that had one of those big hits, and that's the extra hitter, number 14, Cole Tully. He had a big triple earlier in this game. I think it was about 3 years ago. As the pitch from Roach is in the dirt for ball 1. 1-0 the count here in the bottom of the 11th inning. Pitch. Just a bit outside, I think. Ball 2.
It's a good leave.
The 2-0 pitch. Low this time. 3-0 now the count.
We saw Mcgrath get out of a pickle earlier in his last batter, and he was behind. It was 3-0, and he was able to fight back. We'll see if Roach can do the same.
Pitch, not this time. 4-pitch walk. Last pitch was low and inside, and Tully gets a free pass down to first.
You just can't give away batters like that.
And now coming up with no out and 1 man on, the designated hitter, number 17, Brian Marshall. Roach checks the runner at first, winds and delivers, hits a grounder foul down the first base side. This is a batter that Owen is quite familiar with, as the guy that drove in that go-ahead run in their last playoff matchup.
I'm sure both of these guys are getting ready for that next match that we have here. Coach on the first pitch, gave him the green light to swing, not laying down the bunt.
0-1 the count. Roach checks the runner at first and delivers, now showing bunt, and he fouls the bunt. Reed tried to dive for it but couldn't get it. Hustle play by Jasper Reed behind the plate, as Marshall tried to go for a 1-strike bunt, but got under it and fouled it behind him.
And the good news for Brookline is that there's not going to be a bunt here. They're going for it. This ball is going to be put in play if he swings.
0-2 the count. Roach with the pitch. Swung on and missed. So if he swings, it's going in play, huh?
Yeah, that was a misspeak. I realized as the words came out of my mouth, maybe that's not 100% true.
I was literally thinking, watch him whiff on this one after he said that. And then he did it.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm glad to be proven wrong.
That's one of those jinxes that you're happy for.
Yeah.
As now stepping to the plate, Cullen McCadden. First pitch from Roach. Swung on and missed. Strike 1.
Yeah,
McCadden has done a very valiant job out of the bullpen for Reading today. And he's even had a couple of nice hits. He now faces an 0-1 with 1 out and a runner on first. Here in the bottom of the 1-1 inning, as the next pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Can I say 1 a few more times, you think?
Go to town.
It's even number 1 on the mound and number 1-0 at the plate. I'm going crazy. What is this game doing to me? 1-1 is the count. Pitch. Swung on and missed. Runner goes. Throw down to second by Reed. Not in time. So Tully steals second, and he now represents the game-winning run in scoring position. 1-2 is the count to Cullen McCadden with 1 out in the inning.
This is such a huge pitch because even if you ground out weakly, put the ball in play, you give the runner a chance to get to third, and then, that's anyone's game.
1-2. Just a bit outside, ball 2.
Tried to get him to go chasing that one outside, but didn't bite.
Roach stares in, gets a pitch he likes. Checks the runner at second. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Huge strikeout for Owen Roach.
Back to back, good, that nail in the coffin, that strikeout pitch, that's got to be your best one.
He's definitely had a good sequence going against the meat of Reading's lineup, as now coming up, the third baseman, Nate Heithouse. Roach checks the runner at second and delivers. This one sent out to left field. This might drop, but nope, it's chased down by Brage Golding.
Coach Bucci likes to joke around that sometimes he doesn't always get the best read, but he's going to get there. He's one of the fastest guys I've seen play, at this level, and he has the ability to save himself when he gets into those sticky situations just because of his sheer athleticism. He can get to that ball.
Well, after 11 innings, the score remains Brookline 2, Reading Red 2. I am Jesse Mayfield Sheehan, in case any of you forgot. I am here alongside my wonderful co-host, Jack Roach, who's been doing a great job stepping up as the color analyst for us today. We're out here at East Boston Memorial Park enjoying about 2 days' worth of baseball for one. It's on sale today. As we head into the top of the 12th inning, the 5th extra inning of this ball game, returning to the mound for his 6th. Is that right? He came on in the 7th. 7, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, this is his 6th inning of relief for Cullen McCadden. He might as well have been the starter.
Well, by that math, I have called a full baseball game. I've been here for at least 7 innings.
Yeah, I think you came on like around the 6th or the 5th.
Yeah.
So you've definitely gone the distance here.
Yeah, I'm earning my keep. Owen plays 2 games, I'll call 1. Who gets the first shower?
Well, we'll see how that plays out. His first coming up is the guy who you talked about, his speed, his ability to track down balls out in left field. Now he's coming to the plate, and that's Brage Golding.
He's such an effective, people will call him, or that 10 spot or 9 spot in general, your double leadoff, because if he gets on base, that is one guy who is tough to get out and just gives the top of the lineup that much more to work with.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't always hit the most powerful balls. He's got a slightly off-balance swing, but he can get the bat on it and send it out into just the right spot every now and again. And then, of course, as we see the third baseman practically standing next to him, he is the bunt master, and you have to respect the bunt master. First pitch from McCadden. In the dirt, ball 1.
Yeah, they're really forcing his hand here. They're going to make him swing the bat.
Next pitch, in the dirt again, ball 2. Well, they're not making him swing so far, I'll tell you that.
Man, earlier you said Tony Romo. I am quite the opposite of that this afternoon.
Now the 2-0 pitch, swung on and grounded over the pitcher, fielded by the second baseman, thrown to first, and he's got him. A nice hit bounce at first, it seemed, as it got past the pitcher. But well tracked by Connor Dugan at second base and well thrown to first. Golding is out for the first out of the inning.
It's a tough play to make sometimes, going to that backhand, ball hit well, up the middle, but able to make a clean play and get the out at first.
And now coming up is Owen Roach. First pitch from McCadden, just outside, ball 1.
Last go around had a good piece of contact, probably his best one in quite some time. We'll see if he can keep that going.
Just that crazy leaping grab by Chris Shin robbed him of a potential hit. As he swings on this one, he seems to have good contact. It's flown out to right, but oh, it's right to the right fielder. This guy can't catch a break.
Nah. At least they're still in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ask for. And he's been a large part of them staying in that game, whether it's his play at shortstop or his play on the mound. You know, he's done his work.
Gotta contribute somehow.
Now the first pitch to Rocco Shorgi is low for ball 1. So 1-0 the count. Pitch. Catches the low corner this time, strike 1. Shorgi, his last time up, flew out to right field. Like many batters, he's had struggles getting on base today. The 1-1 pitch, low and away, ball 2. This has been the definition of a pitcher's duel. What's crazy is we've had multiple rounds of it, because this started with Mcgrath versus Heighthouse. Now we've had McCadden, we've had Chin, and now Roach, as this pitch catches the outside corner for strike 2 to Shorgi.
At a certain point, it's not even batters struggling. It's just the pitchers are doing so well. When you get a hit, it's just an excellent display of hitting.
2-2, the count to Shorgi with 2 outs. Pitch. He swings and connects. This is grounded. It looks like it's going to go up the middle. It gets past the shortstop and into the outfield for a single.
Finally, Brookline lucks out. You know, not the hardest hit ball, but just right place, right time.
You know, it's crazy. We had all these hard hit balls that are going right to fielders, and then Shorgi hits this little dribbler that just happens to get past everybody.
That's baseball.
It is.
It's a funny sport.
It can be quite humorous sometimes. As we've got a meeting out at the mound for Reading, and it looks like we're going to have another pitching substitution. With 2 outs here in the top of the 12th, Reading now going to their 3rd pitcher of the day, and Cullen McCadden getting a deserved round of applause. I mean, give him credit. He may have given up Brookline's 2nd run in the top of the 7th, but since then, shutout inning after shutout inning.
Yeah, you know, not pretty much, every single pitcher who's entered this game has, you know, just been extremely effective. I mean, we've seen 4 total runs, and, you know, I'm losing track. How many innings have we played here now?
We are in the top of the 12th, and we've now had more pitchers than runs scored, as this is the 6th pitcher between the two teams to enter the game, and it is number 1, Connor Dugan. Dugan, of course, caught plenty of pop flies and grounders over at second base over the course of this game. He now takes over on the mound as Cullen McCadden moves back to his original position at third base, and Nate Heighthouse, the original starting pitcher who moved over to third when McCadden came in, now moves over to second base.
It's like a chess game.
Yeah.
Yeah, both teams really have a very impressive amount of depth, and not only good players, but guys that can add on in so many different ways, play so many different positions. You know, sometimes those, you know, jumping from second to third or left to pitcher, you know, at this point it's hard to keep track of them all, and everyone who has changed that position or come into a different spot has really excelled, you know, in that spot.
Yep. The word for the day is multifaceted.
That's it, yeah.
As we get ready with Connor Dugan warming up to be Reading's 3rd pitcher and this game's 6th pitcher of the day. And coming up to the plate is one of those many pitchers we've had, Aiden Chin, who is now back to his original position at second base after Owen Roach took over. He steps up to the plate with 2 down and Rocco Shorgi at first base. First pitch from Dugan is high for ball 1.
It's a lot to keep track of.
Well, we are certainly doing our best here. 1-0 the count. Pitch is low and away for ball 2. Shorgi was thinking about going on that one because a little more outside and that ball could have skipped away from Marshall. 2-0 the count. Pitch, and that one's high for ball 3.
First 3 pitches for Dugan, all out of the zone. We'll see if he can, bear down and start throwing some strikes.
It certainly is a tough position for him because one more ball and you've got a runner in scoring position. Pitch, outside, ball 4.
That's it.
So a 4-pitch walk to start the outing for Connor Dugan, who was, as a side note, the starting pitcher for Reading the one time they've lost to Brookline thus far. In that 7-3 ball game that was actually played in Reading, as during the regular season, each team stole a game from each other at each other's ballparks. Reading Red got a 6-5 win over Brookline in their first matchup in Brookline. Brookline came back with a vengeance for a 7-3 win in Reading. And then in the playoffs, they played again at Reading, and Reading had that comeback win. But they've all just ended up at the same spot regardless in this semifinal game. And with 2 down, we've got a brief timeout between the officials. With the situation, Rocco Shorgi at second with the potential go-ahead run. Aiden Chin standing at first as the officials are talking to Coach Bucci.
At a certain point, you have to ask yourself, what guy has not thrown for these 2 teams against each other?
They've certainly played a lot of baseball with each other. This is their 4th game this year, and it might as well be their 4th and 5th game, as they've almost played 2 entire ball games. Stepping to the plate with 2 men on and 2 outs is the catcher, number 20, Jasper Reed. Dugan checks the runner at second and fires just high, ball 1.
Definitely a tighter zone behind the plate today.
It's always tough adjusting the high-lows for all the different heights of ball players. Pitch, swung on and connected. This one's going out to left. It might not be caught. It's not going to be caught. It's past the left fielder. Shorgi's coming around third. He's headed for home. Chin is coming around third. He's heading for home too. Shorgi scores the go-ahead run. Chin comes in standing up. A 2-run double for Jasper Reed. I think they may have called that a ground rule double. Oh, they did call it a ground rule double. Chin has to go back to third.
That's tough. You hit the ball so well, and that's the thing. The ball keeps on rolling and rolling, and it may have bounced over the fence, but if it didn't, you don't call that time. Aiden is in safe at home, but
easily. I mean, I was too busy looking at the runners to see that the ball had bounced over the fence. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. And I mean, he got 1 run in. He did get 1 run in.
What a great piece of hitting. Jasper is a guy that has a ton of power, and coming up, 2 outs, runners on first and second. You don't necessarily need that deep fly ball that we've seen from him so many times, and he really did a great job of staying on top of that ball. He still hit that ball with a lot of smack, but man, he was on top, and that was almost like a deep hard line drive that just kept on going.
And we've said we were just waiting for that one big hit that could break this game open. And Jasper Reed, certainly always a guy that could potentially pull that through. And against a pitcher that Brookline had had some significant success against earlier in the regular season. And that prophecy played out with that one. Well hit ball by Jasper Reed. And now with runners at second and third, 2 down, and Brookline leading 3-2. Now up is the shortstop, Caleb Mcgrath. The pitch, just a bit outside, ball 1.
That ball was smoked, but that's only 1 run.
Yeah. That's still only 1 run because of the ground rule. Pitch just catches the high corner. Delayed strike call, 1-1. Sort of like you said, when you're not getting those calls in one part of the plate, you try and move to the other, see where the ump likes it. He goes from outside to high inside. Now the 1-1 goes for the high corner again and gets the call again. Strike 2.
That's
1-2,
so
the count to Mcgrath.
That's so tough when that just drops in there. Sometimes they give it to you, sometimes they don't. As a hitter, it's tough to know whether to pull the trigger or not.
1-2 pitch. This one is a high heat. He was trying to fool him there, but he didn't swing. Ball 2. That's definitely one of the situations where the high heat is very effective. You get a couple of pitches that dip, and then all of a sudden this one, it's not dipping.
You don't have as much time to react, you know?
Yeah, 2-2, the count to Mcgrath. The pitch. This one is low for ball 3. So Mcgrath showing that patience. Full count, 2 outs. Runners on second and third. Brookline leads 3-2. Pitch. He fouls it to the backstop.
Good pitch. Not
Again,
enough to
we're
drive
seeing
it.
a Brookline hitter with that resilience. You know, watching at the balls despite the 2-strike count and then fouling them back. I think I cut you off for a second.
No. We're saying the same thing. That really.
Payoff pitch again. He swings and connects on this one. He sends it out to left field, but it looks like the left fielder's under this one. He is. And the inning ends. Brookline has taken the lead for the first time since the 7th inning.
7th inning. That seems like Friday night.
Yeah, it's like if they were going to play 2 games, they could have just split this one in half. You know, play one on the day off on Friday, play another on game day on Saturday.
Yeah,
just split the difference.
They should have been like an intermission. This.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 4:30 right now.
We've been going at it for a few hours. I've had to switch devices on my live audio broadcast because my laptop died and I was too dumb to bring my charger. Because usually I don't need it. Usually the game ends and I got like 30% of my battery left. And also usually there's not an outlet.
Yeah, well, just like these guys, you know, they've made some difficult adjustments, and in that same vein, you know, making the transition from laptop to phone, you know, doing a great job over here.
Thank you. You are doing a great job as well, my friend.
I'm glad I joined.
Yeah, I'm glad you joined too. This has been a very fun broadcast.
I've enjoyed it a lot.
And returning back out to the mound, hoping to be the winning pitcher, is Owen Roach. And of course, my partner Jack Roach is completely objective about who comes away with the win in this particular scenario, I'm sure.
Well, here's what I'll say. You definitely know that these past couple games haven't been what you wanted from Owen, you know? And sometimes you can get down on yourself because of that, and I can tell you better than anyone else here, with the exception of my mom and dad, that has not been the case with him. You know, he's a fighter, and it's been so good to see him still knowing what he's capable of, still rolling out and not, you know, like rolling over in defeat, still being ready to give what you have through 12 innings of baseball.
Well, we'll see what he has on the mound in the bottom of the 12th inning. Leading off for Reading is Chris Shin. First pitch, he reaches out and swings, sends it over to second, caught by Aiden Chin. So Shin to Chin with that hit. And a nice jump on the ball by the second baseman results in a line out for the first out of the inning. Now up, the first baseman, number 39, Bill Benneke.
It's a good poke, too.
Pitch in the dirt, ball 1. And even though there were no runners on, I mean, we've said it before, Jasper Reed has done a good job covering behind the plate this game. The 1-0. Catches the low corner, strike 1.
He's so good because he catches his brother, Silas Reed, a great pitcher. You know, he throws him right in there to Jasper all the time.
1-1, the count to Benneke. The pitch swung on and missed. He definitely caught him there. As soon as that swing was through, you could tell Benneke was still trying to pull it back, but he just went too much. 1-2, the count. pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Brookline 1 out away from the championship game. And now coming up, the number 10 hitter for Reading, and that is the left fielder, number 7, Mike Dipietro. Roach with the pitch. Swung on and fouled to the backstop. Strike 1. Brookline 3, Reading Red 2. Here in the bottom of the 12th inning of this Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinal game. Count is 0-1. The pitch from Roach. Outside, ball 1. Roach with the 1-1 pitch. Drops just a little too low, ball 2.
It's a solid pitch, though, the changeup, and I'm hoping to give a more in-depth explanation about that pitch, but he's been going to it.
2-1 the count. Here comes the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 2. 2-2 the count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 12th. Brookline 1 strike away from the finals. Can they get their proper revenge for Wednesday's loss? Owen Roach with the 2-2 pitch. Just high, ball 3.
Full count. You don't want to give, you don't want to give them any opportunity to get back into it.
This is those situations you dream about as a little kid.
Yeah.
3-2, 2 outs, game on the line. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, and Brookline wins. Owen Roach with the redemption relief effort. After blowing the save against Reading in the elimination round back on Wednesday, he comes through and shuts the door for Brookline. Jasper Reed, the offensive hero, with the ground rule double that drove in Rocco Shorgi for the go-ahead run in the top half. Our final score, Brookline 3, Reading Red 2. We joke, but that really was a ball game and a half. And on behalf of Jack Roach, all the players from all these fun games, I am Jesse Mayfield Sheehan for ASPN HD. We'll be back with post-game after this.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
Hello, I am Jesse Mayfield Sheehan, wrapping things up here at East Boston Memorial Park, where we just saw a game and a half, literally 12 innings of playoff baseball here at the Lou Tompkins All-Star League semifinals. The final score after 12 innings of play, Brookline 3, Reading Red 2. Story of this game, simple. Big-time pitching from several different talented athletes. Caleb Mcgrath against Nate Heighthouse to start things out. They battled back and forth. After 6 innings, Heighthouse was replaced by Cullen McCadden on Reading's side, and he went off and basically pitched a game of his own, about 6 more innings worth of relief, before finally the last pitcher of their outing, Connor Dugan, came in and ultimately wound up with the loss. For Brookline on the other side, they started with Caleb Mcgrath. He pitched 8 1/3. Aiden Chin came on and closed out the last 2/3 of that 9th inning. And then over the last 3 innings, it was Owen Roach who came on with the big relief performance and ultimately came away with the win, redeeming a tough blown save he had against this same team in the playoffs back on Wednesday. The hero of the game on offense, Jasper Reed. He hit the go-ahead ground rule double in the top of the 12th inning to drive in his teammate Rocco Shorgi for what would turn out to be the game-winning score. With this game wrapped up, Brookline now advances to the Lou Tompkins championship game. So be sure to stay tuned for that tomorrow. Should be one heck of a ball game. I am Jesse Mayfield Sheehan here at East Boston Memorial Park, signing off. Thank you for watching ASPN HD.